we're live. Painkiller Already, episode 248.
This episode of Painkiller Already is being brought to you by our friends at Casper. Yes, Casper.com, where you can get amazing, comfortable mattresses shipped straight to your door for far less than the average mattress price.
Yes, this is the way that people buy mattresses nowadays. You get them online, they show up like vacuum sealed, you open them, it's a goddamn magic trick, and you're happy as hell. Use Casper. You'll be happy.
I'm about to buy a mattress, and if Casper doesn't hook me up somehow, I'll get it through Casper. Anyway, probably. I like the idea of it just showing
you're
up.
Already being hooked up.
Yeah, I want to get a big. I definitely gonna get a king this time. For some reason, I've always had a queen, and I just never made the change to king. It just never occurred to me.
I literally
but recently
want...
I've been.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Recently, I've been thinking about it. I'm like, yeah, I want a king size bed. I definitely do.
You should get a California king.
That's what
like
we
those
have.
Gigantic ones that are like as wide as they are long.
A California king is a little longer and not quite as wide.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
I saw a mega bed on Reddit that was a king plus a full, because the full is the same length as the king, and they were side by side. So you had an 11-foot wide mega bed.
That's the direction that I want to head. And you say, "What the fuck?" Right? Like
it was the whole room. It was wall to wall bed.
The thing is, it's not uncommon for it to be Jackie, me, and two Great Danes. And something about Great Danes with their huge long legs have a way of taking up like a maximum amount of space. And even in a California king, I'll have like a sliver on the side, and it just, you know, I'm like, and it's a fight.
Get the dogs their own twin for the other side of your giant room. Or
That
get one of those shack beds that looks like the WoodysGamertag logo instead of the
Those
heart.
dogs.
Uh,
Does the poor thing have
Yes.
ears yet?
Still,
that's
the
great.
breeder said it could be a year. The breeder said that he could. I don't know.
You've already got the dog and everything, so I'll just leave it there. It's a shame that your dog won't be whole for a year. God damn. I think they fucked up its ears after you told them. I think I remember it was like this. It was like they were like, "No, Woody, this dog's ears are a little small already. We shouldn't dock them." And Woody was like, "No, God damn it, I'm getting a legit dog. I want purebred. I want it done right." And they fucked up a little, hit a vein, and so now he's got to be in this like ear traction for the next year.
Wait,
Jesus.
so they snip those dogs' ears to make it look better?
So it's called cropping, and if you show your dog, then they I guess it's growing out of fashion. But there was a time when a dog couldn't compete in a show unless his ears stuck up. You know, a German Shepherd stuck up ears. Mm-hmm. That's the result of a surgery and then like propping them in place with a cast for a while.
Even on a German Shepherd?
I think so, although you make me doubt myself now.
I thought they just looked like that. So why would you want that done for a dog that's not going to be in a show?
So like, all right, so like the Doberman Pinscher, for example, they're supposed to have docked ears. You know, in the movies, they're like straight up. Or anytime you see one, maybe you've seen them, the ears are like straight up and really aggressive looking. That's what they want the breed to look like. It also has a docked tail. That's part of the breed as well. Like you ever see if you see those dogs with those little nubs of tails and straight up ears, like that's not natural. We just decided it would look better if we cut some pieces of it off.
Yeah, I know.
And yeah,
we just got lazy with evolution. We took wolves, made them into these wildly different piece of shit animals that can't breathe well, and then we got impatient. And we're like, this is going to take so long if we want to get their ears to stand up too. Just cut it. Just circumcise that bad boy's ears.
I'm not sure. A quick Google search says
yeah.
with German Shepherds that's the result of cropping. Well, with Great Danes, it's definitely the result of cropping. And our dog, like... We got a dog that was like show ready and everything because we had some bad luck with the health of our first two Great Danes. Jack died at 5, and Harley has like a droopy eye, which is a normal defect in these things. So we're like, all right, this time we're going to check like the parents' health records. And we've often wondered why this woman's selling the dog, because she shows them, and Ender seems like a particularly good like representative of the breed. We think she might have been like, I'll sell this one because his ears are fucked up. We think that, like, we're just guessing that could be a reason why she decided not to keep and show Ender, because his ears are all bad.
Wow.
Wait, so did you do that to the dog? You had its ears straightened, and it just hacked off a little too much?
No,
like
that's a story that Kyle tells. I can't tell if you're joking or not, but the truth is we don't like cropping dogs' ears, but his ears were already cropped. And one of the reasons we liked him...
did it himself with an electric saw.
Well,
Pair of kitchen shears.
I wanted a dog and Jackie wanted a puppy, and this one was somewhere in between at like 3 or 4 months old.
So no one wins.
He was like 3 months old or 4 months old or something like that. And I think Jackie thinks that the crop just wasn't taking, and she decided to sell the dog. So he's great in a lot of ways, but I think his ears are always going to be like one's fucked up or pointed sideways or something.
You should just cut them off. You should just cut them off and just. Have you ever seen a dog with no ears? I bet he would look horrifying. That giant dog with just holes in his ears, and you'd have to get like an ear patch to go over them, like so the rain and stuff wouldn't get in and bugs and shit. And what a freak of a dog that would be. Do that. Just take them off, man. Take them off.
This horrible Freddy Krueger silhouette. Of just
Add a horn. Add a horn while you're at it to that monster. God damn. So, all right. So debates first. You want to talk about the debate?
Sure.
Yeah.
Now I watched the
Debate's so
entire
good.
debate start to finish.
I was driving back from the airport, and I was talking to my passenger a little bit, so I didn't catch all of the debate, but I definitely got the first hour and a good bit of the second hour. I don't think I got much of the third hour.
Long. I saw
It
online
was
that it
way
was
too long.
Online they called it 5 hours. I thought it was 3. Maybe they were including the JV debates.
Yeah, I either that or like the spin zone afterwards and the bullshit before. Like, but there was 3 hours of.
It didn't
of those
end on time at
11
11. It might have been 3.5.
I'm
Anyway,
not
it
surprised.
was
There's
super
like
long.
50 people up there. like they need to cut. Like I had no problem with how Donald Trump opened things up. He's like, and first of all, who was it? Rand Paul, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
He's like, I don't even know what Rand Paul's doing here. Who let him in? This guy's less than 1%. There's too many of us up on stage already. Get in. And like Rand Paul's like goes off with some bullshit and like gives him shit about being juvenile and pointing out people's physical flaws. And he's like, hey, I've never said anything about your physical appearance, and believe me, there's a lot to work with there. Like Rand Paul goes, I don't know if you can be president. All these juvenile attacks, this middle
Sophomoric
school
attacks
stuff.
are entertaining.
Yeah. And Trump goes, you ugly little shit. What are you doing? just double down. Every time Trump doubles down.
You just know
Jeb
that.
Bush,
He hates every
Jeb
other
Bush-
person up there.
because Trump had criticized Jeb Bush. Jeb Bush's wife is Mexican American, and he criticized Bush based on that. Maybe that's why he's not as anti-Mexican as I am, or something like that. And Jeb Bush is like, you should have said that. That was inappropriate to bring my wife into this. Apologize to her. She's right there. You should apologize. And he's like, no, I won't apologize to her. I didn't say anything wrong. And just keeps. And he Charlie Fiorino, and she brings up him making fun of her face, and that lady is a horse, of course. All right? She looks like John Kerry's twin sister. All right? It's awful. And I'm not saying that in any way invalidates her as a leader. I think her failures at Hewlett Packard that
She's
Trump
better
so
looking than
hilariously
Hillary.
pointed out to, though. She seemed way too rehearsed. She seemed like she had these like pre-made talking points. Like she was like, I think we should bring Iran. I think we can compare Iran and this abortion issue in the same breath, because defending against Iran is about defending the safety of this country, and going after this abortion thing is about defending the character of this country. And it was like, oh, who fucking like bottled that up for you and served it?
Dude.
Like, I don't want to hear that bullshit.
So watching the debate, I watched it around. We have a fire pit outside. So Chiz, Jackie, me, and Colin were all watching the debates by the fire outside. What'd you say?
What TV do you have out there?
What TV you said? We have Wi-Fi, so we watch it on Chiz's MacBook Pro.
Oh,
15
Okay.
inches. It wasn't bad. So anyway, I lost my
Watched
train
it
of thought.
outside
What
with the
the
whole
fucking
fam,
fire?
sitting around the fire pit.
If there was one takeaway we universally agreed upon, it was that we fucking hate Carly Farina. Every time she opened her mouth, everybody was groaning. We were hating her. Every time she wouldn't shut the fuck up. Like, she'd have 30 seconds to reply, and that woman would triple and quadruple it constantly.
She did a great job, though. I'll be honest. She did a great job. She was more prepared. She sounded more presidential than anybody else on that stage. I don't agree with anything she said, though.
Dude.
She was like, the problem is we don't have a big enough military. I want a hammer so fucking big I can crack the earth with.
Dude, and then in one sentence,
150 naval vessels and 35 Marine battalions, and I'm just like,
Dude.
Starship Troopers? Are we going to Nebula to invade?
Dude,
who are you?
She talking about the deficit and the spending in one sentence, and then she wants to go military crazy in another sentence, and everything she said made everybody so angry in my little circle. We all hated her, and like I'm not saying it, but I'm thinking to myself, oh my God, shut your fucking cock holster. If 10 more words come out of that mouth, then I'm gonna go ballistic. And she just kept going and going and going. And then today I read some analysis on the debates. Like, who won? Right? Who won? Like, give me the what are people saying about it? Carly Farina.
The experts.
Oh, go on.
Why don't we give our own opinions of who won before we talk about the experts? Because I don't know. I watched the debate. And I worked all fucking
I'd like
day
that.
All right, so I think that. All right, so first I want to talk about the 1%, the 1% candidates. Those left behind guys like Cruz and Christie. Santorum. If I was even on the main stage, I didn't think he was. Kucinich. All right, so I think Kucinich didn't do well.
You're thinking of Kasich. Kucinich is a Democrat.
Thanks. He's got an awful name. Like that's part of your problem, Mr. K. That's part of your problem right there is name recognition. I still don't know it. 2 or 3 debates in. All right, so he didn't do very well. But I thought Chris Christie was strong. I thought Ted Cruz was strong. Marco Rubio was strong. But Jeb Bush, I felt like he was just kind of lukewarm, better than before. I definitely think he was one of the winners coming out of this debate. He definitely didn't go down. If anything, he went up a little. Mm-hmm. I don't think Trump's going to be affected by this because he doesn't get affected by anything. I think it was just as much of a negative as it was a positive. It was a wash for Trump, I think. But I think Carly Fiorina, despite what we all just said about her, is going to get the most gains out of this thing. And I think in that way, she is the winner. I don't think she won the debate, but I think if there's any candidate that's really gonna see a surge out of this, and not a Donald Trump surge or anything, but she's polling at what, like 1 or 2 or 3 or 4% now. She could bump up to 17% after this. She could overtake Jeb Bush after this performance. I think we'll see what the polls say, but I think she did very well, and she sounded like she knew what she was talking about, and she would point it out. She's like, you guys are just saying this, and that. Here's what I'm saying. Day one, first thing I do is this. And she knows what she's doing. The first phone call she's making, how she's going to shift the geopolitical climate.
Annoying. Just how everything was like she had a teleprompter right in front of her. I think Christie got a ton of points when, like, what's his name, Trump and the lady Carly were bickering about who was the less bad CEO. Of like, oh, I made this much money and we grew. HP grew when everybody knows you can Google it. HP tanked under her. That was the whole reason they fired her. At least Trump still has a business. And then Chris Christie jumps in with like you two and your sophomoric bickering, talking. Look at your pride, and it's like, you big fat fuck trying to edge your way in here, make yourself look like the hero. But I think a lot of people are gonna buy that.
I don't think so. I feel like Carly immediately put that little fire out. She was like, I think our backgrounds are very important. We talked about your background forever, Chris. We went on and on about how you were the prosecutor after 9/11. Like, she didn't say that verbatim, but that's what I'm thinking. I'm like, I have heard so many times about how you were the federal prosecutor post 9/11. Like, what does that even fucking mean?
Yeah,
like,
didn't we not prosecute anyone? Wasn't the big thing that nothing went to trial?
If you're the guy that was in charge of that, then you did a real shitty job, because I don't feel any vindication there. I don't feel like we got enough people. Bad job, Chris.
You know what I think of the prosecution after 9/11? Me learning new fucking Latin. Habeas corpus? What is that? That's the right to a speedy trial? I didn't know that shit until we didn't prosecute anyone. Let me make sure that someone's going to correct me on that.
Did you notice that one guy on the far right of the debate? I don't even know what his fucking name is. The old guy who didn't get to talk for like the first hour. He has a really non-discreet... No, on the far right, looking at the stage, closer to Trump than them. Right next to the lady. But
and Scott Walker, because Scott Walker got the least amount of time.
Might have been that guy. I have no idea, but I know his name wasn't familiar. But finally they came to him after like an hour to ask him some petty little question about like, how do you respond to what Trump, you've been invoked in discussion. And the guy's like, I could respond to that, but honestly, I haven't talked at all. So I'm just going to say I'm for this country, and I'm happy. I think we need to get everybody back to work. And just he, for a minute, just said all of his little talking points and then said thank you real quick. Like, didn't respond to anything, just tried to edge his... He's the guy who looked like he'd be one of the minor house leaders riding behind Rob Stark in like season 2, like like Lord Underwood or something. Who knows?
I can't think of who you're thinking of. It could have been Kasich.
Kasich might be it.
Oh,
Lord Kasich.
So one part I found particularly interesting. All right, so winners and losers. Who do you thought?
Let's finish
Yeah, it was Kasich.
It was Kasich. Do you want to go first, Taylor? You want winners and losers?
Winners, Trump. Even though I didn't agree with anything the hyper-conservative lady said, she did a good job responding. And then Christie and I think Rubio. They all seem to do pretty well. Losers would be Huckabee and Kasich. They looked like blithering idiots who couldn't even compete. And I can't even listen to Mike Huckabee without staring at his neck the whole time, like slowly enveloping the top part of his collar as he looks down and around.
He has got to loosen that neck, huh? So let's see. My big winners.
You wanted to do that just to watch it jiggle.
Outrageous statements from Mr. Trump.
I actually liked Kasich. I noticed a lot of them were talking about non-serious stuff. They didn't have any policy things, right? Like Trump's up there talking about whether Jeb has energy and whether this guy or that guy is good looking. Every time Kasich, first doing personal part. Every time Kasich spoke, he spoke about things he believes in and what he would do as president, and that resonated with me. So I liked Kasich a lot. I thought Christie had a couple good lines in there, and so stuff like solar. I've known about that. Look, New Jersey is the 3rd largest like solar producer in the nation, right? The top ones are like Arizona and California, which makes sense. They have so much sun, they're in the desert, and Jersey's 3rd. How does Jersey come out of fucking nowhere and get 3rd? It's government policy, right? He's encouraging solar to go up everywhere. My in-laws have solar on their roof, and it's just because they're encouraging it and making it happen. And that to me was a valid point. So I thought Kasich did really well.
Gas coming to that landfill.
What about Rand Paul? What do you think about him?
I didn't think he did well. So Rand Paul would occasionally take a shot at someone, but if you want to succeed in a presidential debate and you're a nobody, what you do is you say, you suck for this reason, and then pivot to yourself and your own accomplishments and why you don't suck. He would take a shot at someone, then just stop there. That doesn't make me vote for you. That's not how you do it. You say it, and then you pivot and talk about your own accomplishments or beliefs.
He also didn't come off as assertive at all, like the whole time. Every time he responded, I got like a feeling of that kid in the back of a class who would like correct something minor, like actually it's a cumulonimbus cloud, or like something that really doesn't matter.
Project his voice
to get in there. No, he spoke too silently, just like Carson.
So my winners personally were
there and blah 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 blah, and Trump is like you, like he's just like loud and boisterous and with all the animated facial tics and stuff.
What worked for me was Kasich and Christie. Those were 2 guys that I liked what they had to say. I thought Trump was kind of an even. One thing that was fun to watch about Trump is no one out-alphas Trump, right? Even when Jeb Bush decided to stand up to him, that ended with Trump saying, "Oh, you've got more energy tonight. I like that." And then he carries on. And Jeb Bush was like, "Ha, Trump likes me. Ha, mission accomplished."
Trump is smooth. Trump is smooth. And Trump I feel like if there's ever a silence, Trump is so ready to fill it. Like if you don't have a thing to like say right after your point is made, if you're waiting on the crowd to cheer or something, Trump's filling that gap. He's not going to let the crowd cheer for you. He's right in there, and it won't even be substantive. It'll be just random, like just mishmash bullshit. Like it's when he describes his accomplishments. Amazing accomplishments, ridiculous, incredible, the biggest I've ever seen. And when he talks about something bad, the worst deal I've ever seen. I've seen deals. I've seen all kinds of deals. Never, ever, 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 ever. Like he does that constantly. He's just like embellishing and just
He's really
hyperbolic
with everything.
The Trump show's wearing out. Everything is either the greatest or the worst, as Kyle pointed out. Something's absolutely terrible, something's completely wonderful and marvelous. And he rarely talks about any kind of policy with the exception of immigration. And, they ask him something about the military and he'll get stumped and be like, "Trust me, I'll be the best at the military." It's like, that's not like a verb. Like, I will be out militarying any of these other people out here. Like, you can't just say that when you don't tell us like what you'll do or why you think it's a good idea. They take a lot of... Yeah.
I watch Band of Brothers twice a year. I'll have you at Christmas and over summer.
So I just feel like, like Kyle's impressed with what Trump can do and how well he'll never be stumped and how he pivots and fills the void. I feel like, for me personally, that stunt that he does is wearing out.
You're not the average voter. He doesn't care about you. Trump doesn't care about your vote. He not at all. Like you can tell by what he says that he's not going for you. He's just not. Trump says things that sometimes just aren't even accurate.
Oh yeah,
he just lies.
Sometimes
he'll make stuff up.
That's a Republican thing. That's like a PolitiFact did like a survey, dude. The average, like every time they check on an outlandish statement or like a big fact, Republicans are far less likely to be accurate with their facts. It's just they're full of shit.
That's also because it seems like Republicans are more likely to take harder stances on things, whereas like the Democratic debates, at least from the last ones I've seen, they kind of just mishmash and kind of just talk around each other and agree way more than each other, whereas the Republicans are more cutthroat.
You can compare the State of the
fault,
Unions, and that's a very similar scenario, right? What Bush says in his State of the Unions fucking fails. Like PolitiFact flags are going up everywhere. Obama does a State of the Union. It's literally 100% true. And,
yeah, you might be right.
And that's not a situation where it's back and forth, a debate or whatever. It's just they get to say what they want to say and fact check it and make sure everything is accurate. And yeah, Republicans lie to you more. That's just the way it is.
One thing I didn't like about
PKA stats.
One thing I didn't like about the debate and the way it was set up, I felt like that. I didn't like that it was all about turning the candidates against each other. It seemed like that was the whole thing. It was like, oh, so Jeb, Donald's been talking shit.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that? How do you feel about that shit he said about you and your wife?
Yeah.
And it's just
Mr.
like
Paul,
that
it's
was...
been assumed that Donald Trump thinks you pee sitting down. Get a response.
Donald Trump recently referred to you as a faggot. How do you feel about that, Mr. Cruz? He's like, well, what? Well, I don't really want to even answer that question. Let's talk about the economy. Like they all tried that, but it was clear that CNN wanted this to be like, I think Rush Limbaugh called it today like a WWE style debate where everybody was constantly being pitted against each other, and you really had a hard time ever getting anything about policy or any real decisions they'd make in the White House. And I think the candidates that stood out, either in spite of that format, were able to get their big ideas, their plans put forward and explained, or they were just like Donald Trump and they were just entertaining. We forget that we make it seem like whoever has the most honest facts is the guy who's going to win, but that's never been the case. Look how Reagan won his. He's talking about I'm not going to let my opponent's immaturity be a factor in this race or something. When experience, when it was his own age being questioned, they were like, Reagan, you're so old or whatever.
Yeah, you're so old. How can you be running for president? And he's like, I am not going to stoop to that level. I won't use my opponent's inexperience against him. And
there's I think there's one about he was like, I paid for that microphone or something like that, or I paid for this microphone. It's those big gotcha moments in a debate that'll swing a candidate one way or another. Look back to when George Bush was debating Al Gore, and Al Gore's going on and on about the lockbox that I'm going to put Medicare in. Just constantly.
And then Al Gore
meanwhile,
and then off camera, when it wasn't on Al Gore and Bush was talking, he was like harumphing.
That was big too. Split screen. And Al Gore did not know about the split screen. So you got Bush over there, giving him shit. Bush is talking about Al Gore's fuzzy math, if you remember that line. Fuzzy math beat out the lockbox that year, and that's why you got George W. That's totally what it was. In the split screen, you got George Bush over here, and you know what he looked like on the stage? He's calm, he's collected, and he's smooth as shit. And maybe he'll fumble his words and seem like he doesn't have a very good grasp on the English language at times, but when you watch George W. Bush, he's good at it. And he seemed like a likable guy. Meanwhile, Gore is so stiff and just like, he looked like he was being propped up, and he's making all those guffaw faces and rolling his eyes and breathing heavy. That's what wins debates, and that's why I feel like Trump is doing so fucking well. That, and he speaks his mind, and there's the fact that he's operating under his own money, that nobody else is getting behind him with any money, and so therefore he really isn't controlled by anyone. There was that whole
I gotta get in.
baby.
Oh, I love the Putin thing where he was like, responding to the question about how he would handle foreign affairs, having no experience with anything of the sort, and he just went on like a minute diatribe of like, I have confidence that Vladimir Putin and I will get along. We will get along at my house. We will get along at his house. We'll get along by the pool. We'll get along at the zoo. Like, it's just going on and on. No answer, just that they would get along.
I like
It'll be interesting. I feel like press coverage has evolved a little bit, right? Like when they covered the coverage around the Bush-Gore thing, like they spent a lot of time talking about whether Gore wore a white or a blue shirt, whether or not he rolled his sleeves up, his tie, his body posture, or his body language, his harumphing, his what he was doing off camera. The press didn't cover what they had to say, or who was winning the back and forth. Now, at least there's like when they say Carly Fiorina won, and that's what the press is saying, that Carly Fiorina came out on top. You can kind of see how someone might come away with that and say, yeah, she really did assert herself and make herself known. She was no one before that debate. She was like, she just skirted in last place or something, and coming out of the debate, she got her time. If the press can cover the debates going forward, not just the party ones, but like when the primaries choose when they get the Democrat and the Republican. If the press covers them more responsibly and talks about who won and not what they wore or what their body language was like, then the people might respond and listen to what they have to say. And we might be evolving towards that. We'll see.
Did you see Chris Christie's body posture like halfway through, where like they did the side pan and you can see the slight arc of it, and everybody's standing there just 100% erect, and then Chris Christie's got like both arms on the podium leaning on it like he just ate his daily McDouble, just trying to recover for
he needs to show up with a I beat lap band surgery t-shirt.
Yeah. I beat anorexia.
He had lap band surgery. That's a real thing. Did. Yeah. And you can see that he powered through it anyway.
Yeah, determination, the kind the president needs.
Who's the pediatric neurosurgeon? What's
Ben
that
Carson.
guy's name? One more. Ben Carson came off like a Looney Tune. He came off like a Looney Tune. Oh, he said so many crazy things. There was some climate denying stuff, but the one that really stood out to me because it just kind of came off his tongue like it was nothing. He and Trump were discussing
vaccines, whether
or not a progressive tax system was socialism or not. Ben Carson said it was. He said a progressive tax system is tantamount to socialism, which is bullshit. That's ridiculous. He said, I think we should do it like the Bible. Tithe 10%. And it's just like, and they come up and they go on to talk about, well, you got the guy making $10 billion who's given $1 billion. And one side of it is, don't punish this guy. Next year, maybe he'll chip in $2 billion for you. But then the other side is, you're leaving him with $9 billion. Meanwhile, you took 10% of this guy who was only making 50 grand's money too. It doesn't really make sense. And to see them go back and forth, that Trump came out the winner in that argument, because I know that a progressive tax system is probably a good idea, especially after hearing what he says about these hedge fund guys. And I was trying to learn today about how that hedge fund thing works, and mostly there was something about moving the interest over and over, so that they ended up with a 15% tax rate. It was so difficult to understand that I just gave up. But clearly a progressive tax system isn't socialism. He looked like a moron saying that. And when he brings up tithing and the Bible as a source code for his tax plan, I'm just like, whoa, you're the neurosurgeon? You're the smartest guy on the stage? What the fuck is your problem?
Well, he came off as like a conservative weirdo with all his stuff that he would just slip in, but as far as like his talking pace and demeanor, he came off as a likable guy. Like
was anyone
guy.
else shocked that Carly Fiorina got away with like talking about all that those Planned Parenthood videos that have been debunked, and we all know have nothing to do with what she was saying they do?
On that stage, it's easy to get away with it, though, right? They all want to believe.
Yeah, that was outrageous. I wanted Donald Trump to call her on that. I want anyone to be like, look, I hate Planned Parenthood. I think we all here agree that whatever the status quo is about Planned Parenthood, but those videos weren't real, Carly. Like how you're basing policy on fake YouTube videos. How is that? Are you going to bring that kind of decision-making skills into the White House with you? And I definitely would. Whenever Trump was saying something about her being beautiful, she totally should have come back with something like, "This isn't Miss America, Mr. Trump. Because if it were, you'd have been fired already, for one thing." And she totally could have ripped him apart with like messing with her looks. And she didn't. I thought him calling her beautiful, like they're saying that made him look bad. I thought he owned that whole thing. He's like, "You're a beautiful woman." Like what, he was basically like,
he did an
"What do
okay
you want?"
job handling it, but you could tell that he was saying it facetiously, like in jest. He
Yeah,
didn't
'cause
even
she's
come off as
she's not a beautiful
sincere.
woman. She's
yeah, like
I was listening to Rush Limbaugh today. I saw somebody give me shit because I listened to Rush Limbaugh. That's grade A entertainment. I listen to Howard Stern too. I don't agree with most of what he says either, but it's great entertainment. And Rush Limbaugh is just the same. And he was talking about that, and he went into this whole thing about when a woman is ugly, you don't say she's ugly. Like he just goes on this whole thing, like literally calling. He had like some made up word about ugly citizens or like uggas or something like that. He was referring to like ugly women, and of course I'm thinking to myself like, you fat ugly motherfucker, like you're not throwing that stone in your glass house over there. But of course he does. And then he goes on, as soon as a caller calls in on a cell phone and starts making some sense and like calling Trump out on some bullshit and Rush out on some bullshit, all of a sudden Rush can't hear so well. He's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, can't really understand what you're saying." Like, oh, and everyone can understand. Like it's like a 7 out of 10 phone conversation. You can hear everything he says. He's like, "I'm having to read the transcript." He's like, and I'm thinking like, yeah, that's because you abused all those prescription drugs. One of the side effects is hearing loss, you fat fucker. Like I love listening to him. It's very entertaining, but it's difficult at times. So yeah, coming out of that debate, I think that we've got a real mix-up of things. I'm hoping that soon those like bottom 5 guys who account for maybe 9% of the vote all drop out.
That's
like
not
they
how
need
I
to be
see it.
gone.
You know what I think? I think that if we saw anything from that debate, it's that some of the bottom feeders like Carly Farina, Christie, maybe even Kasich are going to get some attention. Rand Paul, he didn't do anything and he was already at the bottom, so nothing. Ben Carson, to me, who's currently in second, had such a terrible performance. We were making snoring noises and stuff like that every time he spoke. Ben Carson's going to drop down. Some of those bottom feeders are going to go up, and it's going to be even harder after
Jeb
that
Bush
debate.
is going down too, if you ask me.
Yep, I agree, but I also think he's still significant enough, especially with his his bankroll there, that there are very few guys that you can remove from that debate. If you wanted to cut it down to 5, it's going to be harder tomorrow than it was yesterday.
The problem with that is like I don't think that, and I don't know exactly how it would break down, but I don't think, for example, a lot of Jeb Bush supporters who are going to leave his ship are necessarily going to go to a Ted
Trump.
Cruz or a Marco Rubio or one of those guys. They're really in different camps, and so are their donor bases. Like you look at the donor base behind the K guy, whatever his name is. He's got a lot of socially liberal policies. They're not going to want to get behind one of these more staunch conservative guys. They're going to find a more moderate place to go, like Jeb Bush or I can't believe I'm calling him a moderate, but you got this group of psychos like Jeb Bush or maybe Trump. Kasich.
I typed it for him.
Okay.
That's what.
Yeah, it's not that I have a hard time pronouncing it. I can't remember it.
It's nothing like
so
its
forgettable.
spelling. I struggled at first
Yes.
too. But yeah, I think some of the weaker people did better in the debates, and some of the front runners like Trump and Jeb Bush did poorly. So it's just going to be even more of a big tie than it was before. Ben Carson did poorly. Jeb Bush did kind of poorly to
Trump
me.
didn't do poorly. He just didn't do his outstanding surge into the lead from last time. Like anything compared to his first attempt of surpassing everyone is going to seem less successful. But he came off as he had some laugh out loud moments from the crowd, which is memorable.
Trump has done us a real service, and you guys, you know what he did? He destroyed Jeb Bush. Every time someone thinks of Jeb Bush, they think low energy now. He was the front runner. Jeb and Hillary were like, why are we even holding these primaries? Can't we just have Jeb and Hillary go at it? Now Jeb he's in third, right? And sinking.
Yeah, he'll be back down. He'll be down to 4th, I bet.
Might be. Yeah.
So Carson is 2nd right now? I can't believe that. I thought he was one of the 1% guys What, just based on that
I
last
think
night?
you
'Cause I didn't
He,
follow the
he
rankings.
was. He's surged recently.
I think you can tell their poll positions by their position on stage. I think they put the top ones in the middle and filtered out to the weaker ones.
We did.
Which is why
Oh.
Rand Paul was way over there on the side.
Yeah.
And I
saw
like
this-
Rand Paul's foreign policy. Like, he was like, look, every time we take a secular dictator out, right, some non-religious, then some religious crazies come in, which is what the Republicans are trying to do, by the way. You know, take out Obama, get Huckabee in there. We need some religious fuckery in this country.
Yeah, it was a very entertaining debate. I look forward to seeing what comes out of this, how the polls adjust. I think Trump's in this thing for the long haul. I think he's been ahead in like it's well over 100 polls. It might be 150 polls in a row. He's been ahead in, and I think that's a record. I don't think that's ever happened before. So I think he's in there for the long haul. I don't know if he's going to be the candidate or not. I really hope he is.
It has to have happened before, like Reagan's second term or something, where he won 49 states. Yeah, who knows?
I don't know with the polls. In any case, he's doing really well. He's speaking to a lot of people who won't change their minds no matter what. A lot of the people who are like Trump supporters are going to remain Trump supporters unless he has sex with unless like rapes a black woman on stage or something like that. Like he'd have to do something awful. I don't know. He'd have to like spit on a Confederate flag or something like that. He'd have to. He'd have to.
I
He's
like
lost
the
the
debate
South.
format. I feel like that topic flowed away without me weighing in. Like there's maybe it was too extreme, but like you said, the debate format was kind of there to allow the people to argue against each other.
Yeah.
The problem is in the latter formats, when the Democrats and Republicans pick their winners, it's almost like they get up there and they give co-speeches. You know, they can't reply to each other. They just say like, oh, Murka, would you give a short speech on the topic of Iran? Kyle, would you give your short speech? Okay, that's done. New
That's how
topic.
it always happens, yeah.
Yeah, and I really dislike that. I want to
do as
see the
well.
candidates mix it up. I want to see them say, no, that's horseshit, and you have your facts wrong. And, you know...
Like Bush and Jeb and Trump got into over the gambling in Florida thing.
Mm-hmm. Which
Yeah.
it
If I
turned out...
wanted it, I would have had it. Like his just assertive, you don't know who you're talking to, sir.
He said, I was the governor.
Yeah,
And
it
then
turns
just makes
out
his-
they act like... So Jeb was like, Trump gave me 50 grand, and I took his 50 grand, and I didn't give him a casino. See, I'm not bought and paid for. And Trump was like, I didn't give you 50 grand. If I wanted it, I would have had it. Trump gave 50 grand to the Republican Party. And, so
They
he...
then in turn gave it to Jeb.
One would presume, yeah. And Trump is saying he never gave it to Jeb. It's like it's half true at best. I don't know.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, that guy is hamstrung from the start. Would a guy named Jeb even be considered as a nominee unless his last name was Bush and he was part of that family? Is anybody going to vote for, Jeb?
They voted
that
for
just comes
Barack
across
Hussein
as, like,
Obama.
That's
Strong
true.
point,
but
yeah.
that's like- well, okay,
You know that black guy
yeah.
from Kenya? They voted for him.
Point, counterpoint, yeah. It's just Jeb. Like some moonshiner in Appalachia.
It does sound
Comic
like that.
Muslim. They voted for him.
Dude, so I like the format. I'll admit it got a
I
little
saw that.
too, in the weeds, but overall I thought it was cool.
So yeah, I enjoyed the debates. I look forward to the next one, and I really look forward to whenever the Democrats get around to allowing Hillary to debate. I know that her best buddy is running the Democratic Party right now, so they're trying not to have them speak on stage lest anyone know what they're up to. But eventually Bernie Sanders, Hillary Clinton, and who's the third person?
Right,
Whoever the fuck that is.
Yeah.
Hopefully it's our current vice president, Biden. I hope he jumps
Biden.
in and embarrasses Hillary. I really don't want to see her win. Like whenever Hillary's losing, I'm happy. And she could be playing like volleyball on like a lazy Saturday. And if I'm peeking over and I see her fucking miss the serve and just loses, yes, Hillary.
Yeah, she
lost.
looks like she plays a lot of outdoor sports.
So I don't
Real
like
stud.
Hillary either. I don't. I was looking at the 11 Republicans up there, I think, and I was like, you know what, though? Like, as much as I dislike Hillary, and I think she's corrupt and she's warmongering and shit.
Fake.
I think fake. I think of the 11 Republicans, like if she were on that stage, I'd still have her at like 4th or something. Like there's maybe 3 of those guys I like more than
your personal rankings
Hillary.
or what you think who you think would win in the debate.
No, who I would like as president. Like if you put Hillary on that stage and made it 12 people, I think she'd be like my 3rd choice. Like there's
She'd be
not
my
many.
12th.
Okay, yeah, there's not many
I agree with that.
Republicans I like more than Hillary. As much as I don't like Hillary, a lot of those Republicans are just shitheads. You'd pick Huckabee over Hillary?
No.
I'd pick Huck. I'd put Hillary at 12th and Bush at 11th. It's just ridiculous having those two families running the show for this long. Like it's enough is enough.
But
Why
even
not just
worse would be
have kings?
Huckabee. You know, like
Yeah, well,
Huckabee so much worse, dude.
Do you
He's
think-
super
That's true.
religious.
you think stem cell research is a good thing? Because Huckabee doesn't. You know,
Oh,
like
you're going way too far with stem cell research. Huckabee doesn't want your baby to get vaccinated. Probably Huckabee's out there, man. He's super.
However, you want to
Huckabee
defend
doubles as a
Israel?
minister
You
at
want to
the
go to
local
war with
church and shit.
Iran? You want to, fucking start basing political policy on the Bible? Huckabee's your man. Huckabee will read into that Bible shit, twist it all up like a jackass idiot, and say, America, it says right here in Proverbs something or other that America is supposed to attack Iran. And that's Huckabee for you.
Do you think a guy that extreme could be that influential in office, though? Like that he would actually get shit done?
Bush told us that God told him what to do.
A couple of the current candidates refer to God telling them about their own policies. I can't remember the specific example, but a couple of the current candidates said when asked why they feel a certain way. It's like, oh, well, God told me to do that. That's why I'm doing it. Oh, it was one of them was saying that God told him to vote for Obamacare. Like that's
what a great
that's what
excuse for the
God
Republican crowd. God
the
told me.
creator of the universe came down here and he said, George, I got a mission for you. All right, so y'all can fuck off, all right, because I'm dealing with him right now. Like when they take that stance with you, you just got to be like, shit, I guess Hillary, huh? Hillary?
Right. That's where I am.
Because at least she only obeys the evil person that she hears in her own head. Like she doesn't have that whole imaginary one. At least hers is real.
Ben Carson is a God fuckery base tax policy on tithing bullshit, right? That's weird.
That was weird.
I might take Trump over Hillary. I don't know. I think I would take maybe
for the entertainment value. Think about it. Hillary's going to be a boring ass president.
Christie. Kasich might be my favorite Republican. I don't think his chances are very good, but he's my favorite, I think. But yeah, Hillary's got to be coming in at like 3rd or 4th amongst that Republican crowd to me.
Bernie or Hillary?
Ugh.
I don't know.
Oh my God. What
Can
an
I answer
awful
Biden,
choice.
please?
Do I want a liar who... Neither of them have accomplished anything, have they? I looked it up, and Bernie Sanders has 3 sponsored bills that have made it through in 20-plus years, 2 of which were to rename a post office.
I didn't
maybe
know
that's
that.
just
Did
the
he get it
talking
done?
point on the other side.
Did they
the post
rename it?
office was renamed.
All right.
Successful.
Yes, 2 for
All right,
3.
you got a guy who fought for civil rights, literally. He was part of sit-ins and stuff. You've got a guy who clearly says what he thinks, says what he means, and means what he says.
Not a liar.
Not a liar. Very honest, forthcoming guy, and he seems like really grassroots motivated. He seems like he's the guy that'll come out and come to your backyard political rally. I bet. I feel like if we set up a PKA Bernie Sanders meetup, that motherfucker would show up if he was in town. He seems like that kind of guy. And I even like his stances on marijuana, on the prison systems. All that stuff sounds great to me. But when he starts getting into the socialism, and when he starts wanting to really just be like, let's just get everybody at the same level. When he says every American could be right here in the middle, and then you wouldn't have these guys down at the bottom and these guys down at the top. We could all ride this rail right down the fucking middle, and it's just like, no, I don't want to ride down the fucking middle. That's why I work so hard.
And that doesn't work. It's never worked. Anytime you bring it up to someone who espouses those philosophies, it's like, oh, well, that wasn't a real attempt at it. That wasn't true communism or true socialism.
Yeah.
Yes, it was. It failed because it was. It's just you can't implement something like that. You could with robots, but when people have the need and a desire to succeed and they don't get rewarded for that, and they're like, well, I can go be a fucking middle school teacher and make as much as this neurosurgeon over here, or almost as much, 80% as much. Like it's not fair.
The other part of communism, socialism, is that you're still relying on a government. I thought you were saying you'd have to have a government made out of robots, like a robotic legislature who wouldn't rob you blind in your socialist economy, because that's what's going to happen. Like currently, you've got, it sort of already is. There's a political ruling class, it seems, but you're only going to see that grow in a socialist economy. I feel like all of a sudden the politicians are going to be the guys with all the money. Those are. It won't be these hedge fund guys anymore. It'll be your Senate Majority Leader. He'll be the guy rolling in $100 million somehow.
The upside of Bernie Sanders, like we talked about, is he has more character than anybody else in this show, right? More than Donald Trump, obviously, more than Hillary, more than anyone. Like just when it comes to character and honesty and being the right person, he owns it. The downside is, I like you said, the socialism thing. I just can't seem to get on board with that. And a lot of people will think I don't know what it means. Or you hear socialism and you think bad. No, it's not that everyone who disagrees with you, dear listener, just needs more education. It's that they might have a different opinion. And I might be better educated than you, Mr. Disagreeer. I just don't think socialism is a good idea. I think that it tends to demotivate, and it's not going to help the country.
I'll tell you what. If you gave me a living wage, anybody who's got a little bit of savings, especially like let me ask you this, Woody. Like hypothetical Woody, who maybe doesn't have any kids. Maybe it's just you and Jackie. You've got your current level of savings, et cetera, and the government says, Woody, we're gonna, based on your family and everything, $75,000 a year the rest of your life, done. Would you continue? Would you continue being productive in this world? It's just you and Jackie.
I got enough for an RV. We're going touring.
I feel like I would get real lazy if you gave me a living wage, and then I could maybe supplement that with some other bullshit job, that I just do for fun sometimes. If you give me tens of thousands of dollars of just free money, and you're not we're not talking about welfare or something. We're talking about a living wage that just everybody gets. I just feel like that'd be supremely unmotivating for myself. And while I don't think I'm the biggest go-getter out there in the world, I think there's plenty of people who are even lazier than me. And if you give them a living wage, they're going to be like, fuck this shit. They're going to be done too.
You'll see a huge resurgence.
It's human nature.
People are going to start doing jobs that nobody really needs. Just I'm an archery instructor. I get $60K a year from the government, and I make $90 a month from my archery instruction. Or
that's
personal
all the arrows I want for free
lessons.
I got it made.
All the arrows. Thank God for Sanders.
And I feel like the long-term problem with that is you've got not just a less productive economy. I just don't feel like it's sustainable when you do that. I feel like, okay, so we're working at whatever our GDP is now. I feel like the GDP would go down. I feel like people would, and all of a sudden there wouldn't be as much money. Now the living wage starts going down until we're just in a depression, right?
And I've beaten this to death, so I'll just say it once. I think if we raise the minimum wage to $15 an hour, that's really going to advance automating jobs, so they won't exist anymore. And
might be a good thing, though.
It also wouldn't help the people at that level.
It
would very shortly. Then companies would respond to the influx and the amount of consumer spending power there was out there, and everything, the price would ratchet up a little bit. And
went to Home Depot, check myself out. No
I would
cashier.
get myself some illegals to work for me. They work for $8 an hour cash, and that would be that. I just get they don't penalize you for having. Maybe if you're a big corporation and you got 10,000 illegals on a union job site or something, but nobody's fucking with the small businessman when he's got 4 or 5 illegals working for him. That would forever be my thing. I would always there's a fine for having the illegals. I'll pay that. It's better than insuring them and paying and paying all this other bullshit. This $15 minimum wage to Javier over there, who's just a fry cook.
And it would destroy small business. You think a small business where there's 5 clerks at the front doing whatever the fuck the small business does, do you think they can afford to insure, give them all full benefits, pay for all their birth control, give them $15 an hour? You're not helping the small business people.
Although maybe we could maybe all that stuff's affordable under a Bernie Sanders who would cut
Maybe
all
it
the
is.
other bullshit. Maybe if Bernie Sanders goes in there and says, we don't need 350 naval ships because we don't have to fight the entire world simultaneously. We have allies. Like, I know that a lot of people want us to maintain this World War II era readiness, being able to fight in both oceans simultaneously against a Japan and a Germany. And in Italy, if you count them. You know, they always want to be China
Italy's
and
so poor.
Russia ready. Like, right? Like we're going to have to bare-handed fist fight China and Russia at the same time. And if we're not good enough to do that, then we're just not good enough. And that's outrageous. Maybe if you cut that military spending down a little bit, we could afford some other stuff.
Not all that. You couldn't afford to subsidize every small business owner forever if you cut
You'd
down
be
the military.
surprised.
You know
I
what I
just-
have as an idea that might be cool?
But I also don't know if what I'm saying is true.
You know how when you're self-employed, like as a contractor, like a YouTuber, you have to pay both sides of your Social Security. It's 15%. I feel like that world is opening up. Like something about the internet has created a ton of micro entrepreneurs, right? Every Uber driver, every YouTuber, every Etsy store owner. Like there's the micro business, right? Like I think small business, I think something that's established that hires like 5 people or whatever. Paintball Kitty has a successful Etsy business, right? And she does it all on her own, right? She designs the logo, she packs it up, she markets it, she's figured out SEO. The whole thing is her brainchild and her sweat equity. That little micro business is growing. Why not tax both sides of her Social Security? You know, like it would be neat if those little micro businesses got a boost, and then that would just get pumped right back into the economy. And it's the kind of thing that I think would help. And I think it should be encouraged.
Yeah.
The little strike out on your own, do a side job, make a thing, you know, see where that goes. Micro businesses become businesses.
Do you think things like that might drop off if everybody was kept in that middle bar like Sanders wants, where it's like, oh, well, you're going to get this much anyway. Why take a risk on, quitting this for sure thing and then starting up something that at best is going to do the same, you know?
Yeah, I think it is a disincentive. So do we need a new topic?
Yeah.
So we've
Where do you
got
wanna
a
go?
bunch of
got
topics
the clock
chosen.
boy.
I have a video of the clock boy. I have a video of a guy who runs over himself with his car. I don't know if you want to see that. It's about 10 seconds long.
You want to see my new toy first? Can we do that? Because that'll be short.
Yes.
Oh, I guess we can see your toy, Kyle. Is it a gun?
I hope he unzips.
Yes.
I hope it
Oh my
involves
God.
unzipping.
I can't believe it's a gun. First time on
Do you know what
PKA,
it is?
guys. No, I have no idea what it is.
I think it's cooler than you're imagining. Kyle, come back completely dressed.
What?
Come back completely, like, I felt like you were just going to hold it up. No, you got to.
No. I'm setting up so I can stand behind the sofa and still be like.
Oh, okay.
Oh, your gimp suit came in. Oh, now I'm looking forward to this. It's a whole outfit. What would Kyle want to dress up as? He seems like the kind of guy who would get really into Halloween. It could be something like that. He said it was a gun too. That might be included.
I
Like a
wonder if
legit
the
SWAT
viewers
team
know what
thing.
it is. I know what it is, so I don't want to get, but I wonder if anyone else has figured it out.
I don't know. There's a lot of rattling going on in the background though.
Uh-huh.
Metal
That's
clicking on-
consistent with what I know it is.
Yes. It appears to be metal. Yeah. A jetpack.
So this is pretty fucking cool.
Here, what is it?
It's a flamethrower.
For all your home defense needs. They can't think of anything worse for home defense.
It doesn't put any
Flamethrower.
holes in your walls.
That's true. It just burns it down. I recall him saying that he hated flamethrowers and never wanted to shoot another one again. And now he owns one because he is a maniac.
I'm not sure. He might own 2. Let's ask him to talk about that.
Fuck, man.
Hey, Kyle, there was a time when you hated flamethrowers and you never wanted to shoot one again. Talk about that. Oh, you're muted, I think.
Mike.
What could he be doing? Oh, he's fixing his camera to make himself more handsome. It worked. It worked, but you're muted.
You're muted. Rattle the thing.
Now?
Perfect.
Now you're good.
All right, great. Yes, there was a time. So that flamethrower I shot before was a Vietnam era flamethrower. Like it was one that had been to Vietnam and like killed some gooks, I guess, you know. And the thing was leaking on me. Like
phrasing.
napalm was
Not real
leaking out
people.
of two of the different valves, like one on the wand it was leaking, on the backpack it was leaking, and there was just like fuel everywhere. It was dangerous. It leaked on my hand, like it burnt my hand.
The best part of that video, you might think it's shooting the pig, you might think it's the air thing. For me, it's when you shake the napalm off. This napalm, like a 4-inch flame, and he shakes it off, and the flame like falls, like it goes to the ground like dripping plastic.
It was napalm. It was, and that was legit napalm too. Like we were.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but I've never played with napalm. What's it like? Like, how is napalm different than burning gasoline? Or like, what?
It's a thick jelly-like consistency that's sticky. So if I were to douse you with water, you'd quickly take it off. But if I were to douse you with something that was like thick and jelly-like, you'd be like, ah, and it'd be like all over, and you can't get it off, and you continue to burn because it's stuck to you. It also burns hotter. It burns a lot hotter. The makeup of it varies. I don't know about. I think there's polystyrene in there, and it's they use a higher level of benzene to help dissolve the polystyrene. And there's lots of homemade ways to make it, but this flamethrower company actually sent me some mix. I've got this big thing of powder that you mix with the unleaded gasoline.
This one or the previous one? So this one shoots napalm as well.
Like
I have it.
Same kind of napalm that you were shooting the other time. So you have your own mixing kit, for lack of a better. So you just like pop it in a Keurig, and out comes your napalm.
5-gallon jerry can, and you mix it.
I'm gonna take like a metal. I'm gonna use a pot. I'm gonna use like a metal pot because I gotta pour it like twice. I'm gonna pour the gasoline in a vessel, add the powder, stir it till it's congealed right, and then use a funnel to add it to the backpack on the flamethrower.
How many gallons does the backpack hold?
You know, I couldn't say. I just got this thing this morning. I was out working all day, so I haven't even read the instructions.
Is it a scuba tank?
It does not look like a scuba tank. It's so thick walled. I mean, those walls feel like they're this thick. It feels like I'm not exactly sure, but it's got.
How long
there's
can
some
you
more
hold down the trigger on one of those, and it'll keep shooting? Like, how long
on
will
the
that
Vietnam
last?
era when it seemed like I had like, I don't know, 30 seconds of continuous stream, maybe a minute. I'm not sure really. I'm gonna find out tomorrow. It shoots 50 feet. It shoots napalm, gasoline, whatever, and I'm getting more on Monday apparently, because I want to get the name right because there's two different flamethrowers that are commercially available these days, and that's the reason that I'm willing to do the flamethrower thing. And I used to say I wasn't again because the old flamethrower I used was that Vietnam era, like a 40-year-old flamethrower or something, and this one is brand new. The one I just showed you is like $1,500, and it's the XM42, I think. I keep getting the two mixed up.
How much would one of those run you if you were just like,
no,
I could use a flamethrower?
$1,500. So the backpack model is $1,500. It's the X15. This is the X15. That's right. So the backpack one is the X15. It's I'm gonna just shoots 50 feet. Shoots napalm. Then there's the X42, I think, which is a different company altogether, and they sell this. It's an XM42. I'll link it to it.
I have this idea for a day in the life, and I guess I'll just ruin it. But I do these day in the life videos. One time in the day in the life video, I opened a banana from the bottom, which I do about 2/3 of the time. It's just better. It opens. I don't know if you've ever opened a banana from the non-stem side, but it goes really easily. People made a big deal out of it. I have an idea to do a day in the life where I just do like awkward shit all fucking day. And one of them is gonna I want to light we're gonna have a little family fire gathering and start it with a flamethrower. Maybe open a banana from the side like it's normal, just like nibble around both ways.
Like it's corn, you eat it slowly until there's just a core of that weird brown part.
Just make no mention of it, like again and again and again, all video long. Like, I don't know, put on like socks outside my shoes, or I haven't thought it all through.
It has to be less obtuse than that. You need to do things that are normal, that people will just see as weird, and slowly over the video they'll be like, well, that's weird. I didn't know he ate bananas like people eat corn on the cob. Like, oh, he puts his toilet paper on the wrong way. It's like, just anything like that. I'm trying to think of more good ones, but that's a good idea. You should try it. Now it's ruined, but
I could just like make an argument for ballet shoes while doing construction. Like, oh yeah, I like this because I have to like climb from wall to wall, and I feel more in touch while I wear ballet shoes.
All right, so That's the XM42. That's the little handheld one. It's $900, and I think that should be here Monday, I hope. I'm hoping they're sending 2. I want to do 1 in each hand, and I think that's going to be really cool. I think I got the green one, if you're curious.
900. Jesus
Yeah.
Christ. You can get, that's cheaper than if you want to buy like a Kimber Smith & Wesson. Or a Kimber or Smith
That's what I'm going
Wesson,
to say in the video. I'm going to be like,
nice gun.
I'm going to be like, my handgun here costs more than this flamethrower, and you can get a lot more fun out of this thing, and the ammo's cheap. Yeah, a couple bucks a gallon. It's a pretty cool toy. I haven't shot either of them yet, but I'm familiar with flamethrowers, so I think it's gonna be a lot of fun. And I got some cool ideas.
They should sponsor PKA. I think that'd be a good idea.
Yeah. I'll see if they want to. I know. I'm trying to get you the one of the little ones.
I'd love that.
So
A little flamethrower.
Yeah,
Like
and I swear, I think I'd
CWP
rather have that.
flamethrower.
Yeah, a concealed weapons permit, right? just like a pocket flamethrower.
Standing in the back of a 7-Eleven, it starts to get burgled. Now's my time to shine. Pull it
Yeah,
out. All
it's
the
like an
chips go up
aerosol
in
spray
air.
and a lighter, like.
Just, you don't even disarm the guy. He's just laying there in agony, head aflame.
even the little one shoots 25 feet. So.
Mhm.
Gonna be cool shit. I gotta find some fun stuff to do with it. I got some really cool ideas, but I want to shoot stuff for fun. I want to find a big hornet's nest, like a giant one. I think that would be a lot of fun. I imagine them flying around on fire. That'd be great.
You could flash cook another Henrietta.
That's going to happen. That's part of the video. We'll be cooking something in the video, for sure.
Would you be able to eat that, or would the napalm make it completely inedible?
We'll see. We'll work something out.
Jeremy!
I got a couple ideas. There's one way of doing it where I imagined like sealing the food item up inside of like a metal vessel and then heating the outside with a flamethrower, cooking it and eating it.
Just a thought. You're so good at ideas, but popcorn might work in a situation like that. Just popcorn in a steel tin, and then it might be an audible kind of pop, 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 pop that you could mic up, and it'd be cool for video.
Yeah. And I'm going to do some stuff with some propane inflatable balloons, maybe some giant ones, and I got a few other little ideas. I get a car involved.
You can buy 6-foot balloons.
I know. I was looking at them on Amazon. I haven't decided how big I'm going to go with
I've
these
got
balloons.
some. Yeah, they're not that much. I think
I'm just not sure how. I got to do some testing. I'm not sure what a balloon of propane looks like when you ignite it. So if like a 3-foot wide balloon of propane explodes and makes an 8-foot wide fireball, then I know I need to be,
pretty
a certain
far
distance
away.
Far away, yeah.
But if it explodes into a 40-foot fireball, then I know that it's too big, and I need to go.
I remember I wanted to do oxyacetylene, and you're like, Woody, a balloon that size will break windows for blocks. It's it's like kaboom! Like it's like police will come, fire department will arrive, people could get really hurt.
I'm very afraid of acetylene. Acetylene gas is so volatile. It burns at such a high temperature. And I don't know, when propane or even gas fumes go off, they can be kind of explosive. They'll whoosh and they'll ignite. But acetylene is like boom, and it's just instantly ignites, and it's so hot, and it's even a dirty, sooty smoke. When I burnt my hand, I just remember it was blackened. It was just blackened, and the blisters were the size of silver dollars, and it was just nasty. And I never want that again.
Well, that's
and
why you hate acetylene so much. You had a bad childhood experience.
He's got bad history with acetylene.
Yeah. And my fear is, of course, filling the balloon, and some static electricity zaps the balloon, and it explodes right there in your hands as you're filling it with. And when I got hurt, it was a balloon this big of acetylene that I lit with a lighter, and what we're describing is 6-foot diameter balloon, many times
it's
the
like
volume.
150 regular balloons or something.
Yeah. At least 100 times the volume. It would literally incinerate the front. If that went off in front of you, it'd rupture your eardrums.
Probably die.
You might die. It'd rupture your eardrums. You'd have at least second degree burns all over the side of your body that was facing it, probably your whole body. If you inhaled, you could just die instantly. You could inhale the fire, scorch your lungs, and be...
Worse yet, you might die over the next 3 minutes.
Or over the next 3 months.
Yeah.
So you're either dead or consigned to giving speeches on firework safety at middle schools.
You know what?
Never play with flamethrower. Never.
Guys with
I'll have
chewing
that thing where
tobacco.
like you don't have lips anymore. It's just like there's no
Did you have one of those guys come to your school for like chewing tobacco or cigarettes? We had that
Oh.
chewing tobacco guy come with like a little jar. He told us that he wishes he could go back, and it was just
we
so
had a
scary.
meth
I'm
guy
not-
come. We had a meth guy come, and he was talking about all the dirty sexual things that he did to earn money, and he was talking about how it was awful. And we're back there laughing our asses off. like we're 15, 16, 17-year-old kids who we just did gym. We're all hyped up. And then you got this fucker up there crying about having to suck some dick for a gram of meth or something. We thought it was hilarious. Like that made
How
no impact
in-depth
on us.
Did he get?
He was not very in depth, but like he got his point across without being graphic. He was just like the things you'll do. Going in, and it was just him. You know, he looked like shit. Of course, he had the meth face. So like it was like I mean I've seen the commercials. Like I am not gonna do any meth. Like if I got diagnosed with like some awful disease and I'm gonna die soon, yeah, let's meth it the fuck up because it seems like one hell of a ride from everything I've seen in all the Breaking Bad episodes. So yeah, sure then. But it's one of those drugs that I don't usually fall for that dare propaganda bullshit. But when they say meth, not even once, I'm like, deal.
Yeah, there's some of those drugs that just fall into the don't even consider it, like meth.
Yeah, not
heroin.
even once. I'll never forget when I was hanging out with those guys that I didn't know very well, and I was just like, we're just like in the backyard of a house smoking cigarettes, and I was just like, meth came up, and kind of in the same jokey way we're describing it right now, and I was like, you ever seen those commercials, man? Meth, I'm on board with that. Not even once. And the one guy was like, I tried it a few times, and the other guy was like, and I looked at him like, what the fuck? And the other guy was, yeah, me too, you know. And I was just like, all right, boys, I'm gonna get the fuck up out of here. I had no idea. I'm out of here. Like,
No,
Heroin.
it's fine. I'm just a weekend tweaker. You know, I dabble. I
Yeah,
dabble in.
I don't want
Heroin's
that.
the one, man. Heroin. I've never tried heroin, but I
that-
did this short-lived video series on my channel that talked about what cocaine was like, what heroin was like, and maybe some others. And these were like hardcore addicts, and I would just read their stories. And heroin was the one that like just made everything okay. He's like, it's 5 a.m. You're driving to work. You're stuck in traffic in the city. It's raining, and every drop is beautiful. You know, like you can go to work on heroin. You can function on heroin. It just makes you happy. It just makes everything okay until it spirals out of control, until you build a tolerance, until like it goes terrible. It's wrecking your body. You can't feel well without heroin. You can't be happy unless you're on heroin. But the initial stages of the addiction, the whole like, yeah, like there's all these problems, but I and content and fulfilled, like people who find Jesus, you know, like they filled that hole that was in me. Heroin and Jesus, very similar.
I don't think, and I've never done heroin,
Mm-hmm.
but I know it's just a really strong opioid. Like if you took a ton of Vicodin or OxyContin or something like that, I don't think you can function if you shoot up a bunch of heroin into your arm. Like it's basically like even the people who
Let me look
you can
and see
snort
if
it.
I'm mixing
Like
it
you know
up.
those when you watch those Sherlock Holmes
Yeah.
TV shows and they walk into the opium den and everybody's just laying on bean bags, not even responsive with their opium hookahs. Like that's not even as intense as injecting it, and those guys are laying around like they're borderline dead. Granted, that was Sherlock Holmes, and I have no experience, so I don't know.
I've been an
But
opiate.
I do not think you could function on heroin.
Actually, this is an obvious.
I've known people who used to be heroin addicts, and one of them used to shoot heroin, and the other one had only ever snorted heroin because she was so skeeved out by needles, I guess. So I guess that's a good thing. But apparently, when she was snorting heroin, she could operate fairly well, doing basic. Go ahead.
I have a video, and I want to. It's my own. It's like 3.5 minutes. I think I want to watch. I gave the timestamp for when the interesting stuff starts. Can we watch it together?
Sure.
So I'm at 35 seconds.
Same.
I am as well.
All right, that should be very close to when it starts. Ready, set, play.
The question was, what is heroin like? And here's the response. Actually, this is an obvious question, but it's not what you might think. Let me explain it to you. I've been an opiate addict for a long time, and I've tried many drugs. Drugs that are uppers have the most obvious euphoria. For example, like if you take Adderall, Coke, meth, speed, MDMA, you will get this shining, bright euphoria, self-confidence, energy, and other drug-specific feelings. For meth, like you are king. For MDMA, like you love everyone. However, you owe these drugs back what they delivered to you. After a meth binge, or lots of MDMA use, or staying up all night on Coke, you will feel like shit. To an extent, this is similar to an alcoholic hangover. On the other hand, for people who experiment with heroin, they are underwhelmed. Not including IV usage, but most experimenters rarely IV the first time. They just feel good, chill, happy, but they feel like the spooky drug heroin hasn't delivered. They're just mellow. Oh, and obviously it's all been a lie, they will think. Heroin isn't spooky, it's chill. It's not addictive like everyone else thinks. It doesn't make you do stupid shit or stay up all night and hallucinate like amphetamines or coke. It doesn't empty your serotonin like MDMA or give you a hangover like alcohol. People tend to think, oh, what a nice drug. So the next day they wake up and everything is normal. No headache or shitty feeling, just a slight afterglow of that nice feeling. Oh, and it was cheap as well. It only cost $10 for a whole night of being high. I thought people said heroin was expensive. And then the next weekend comes. There are all these drugs I could do, but I liked heroin. It didn't fuck me up. I could still think clearly. No hangover, no feeling like shit later. I was still awake. It just made me happy and content with life. Oh, and it's only $10. Well, I should get some more for the whole weekend. This is great. I will use heroin on the weekends now. Now let's say this person works and has responsibilities. He knows he can't go into work drunk or on MDMA or high, so he doesn't. It's actually simple. But heroin, the user might actually find they do work better on heroin. Instead of being sad or grumpy or depressed with his job, he is just happy, mellow, content. Everything is fine and the world is beautiful. It's raining. It's dark. I woke up at 5:30 a.m. I'm commuting in traffic. I would have had a headache. I would have been miserable. I would have wondered how my life took me to this point I'm at right now. But no, everything is fine. Life is beautiful. The raindrops are falling, and in each one I see the reflection of every person's life around me. Humanity is beautiful. I'm in this still frame shot of traffic on this crowded bus, and I just found love and peace. Heroin is a wonder drug. Heroin is better than anything else. Heroin makes me who I wish I was. Heroin makes life worth living. Heroin is better than everything else. Heroin builds up a tolerance fast. Heroin starts to cost more money. I need heroin to feel normal. I don't love anymore. Now I'm sick. I can't afford the heroin I need. How did $10 used to get me high? Now I need $100. That guy that let me try a few lines the first time doesn't actually deal. Now I need to find a real dealer. The guy is a felon and he carries a gun and he can sell me the drug that lets me find love in the world. No, this isn't working. I need to quit. To answer your question, heroin feels nice. That's all. It just feels very nice. You can make up the rest for yourself. Attach your own half-truths to this drug that will show you the world, and for a moment, you will feel as clever as Faust.
That's it.
And now my next letter.
That, as far as I know, is what heroin is like. It kicks off just nice, just content, just happy. Like it gives you the life you wish you had, and then it just starts wrecking you.
If you had only put the first 2 paragraphs in your video and cut it off after that, you could have ruined hundreds of thousands of lives. Like, it makes me who I wish I was.
Great.
I am happy, you know?
Content. Yeah. You know, he's like, I see the lives of everyone around me in each raindrop. I can work on this drug, maybe even better. Like, that to me was one of the biggest dangers about it. Like, you can't go to work drunk. You know, if you're an alcoholic, you need to hide that shit, unless you're a live streamer. If you're if you're on coke, if you're on, I don't know about coke, I'm sort of speaking outside of my expertise, but if you're on a lot of drugs, MDMA, he said, you can't go to work high on that stuff. But heroin, yeah, just a happier version of you, a content.
I bet you could work on meth, on coke, on marijuana. I I would think that the ones that it would be difficult to like work on would be the hallucinogenic ones and the ones that that really like MDMA,
LSD.
maybe anything like that. Anything that's going to be psychedelic, mushrooms. I would imagine. Any of that stuff that would actually fuck up your perception of the world around you. Can you imagine like you're working at like a meat processing plant, your hands going in the grinder, and you just see rainbows shooting out the other end. You're like, woo! let's do it again.
Yeah.
Like you don't want that.
But you were talking about like, if I knew the world was going to end, well, shit.
Oh yeah.
Heroin.
Yeah.
That guy's an effective advertiser for.
That sounds fucking
if you're dying
awesome,
in 2 weeks. Yeah.
Yeah, I think if I were to, if it were the end, it's all gonna be sealed up. I go buy a few $1,000s worth of fucking heroin. I think that sounds like one hell of a time. Sounds like it would ruin your life though. Even if you just, I guess you could try it once, but that you would have to be real strict. You'd have to be like, that's it, just the one time.
I can't co-sign on the just try once thing.
It never goes wrong.
Because he describes that. Oh, that was a thing. So I did that as a series. I know I did coke. I think I might have done alcohol. I forget. But the common theme through a lot of the hard drugs was that at first you feel like everybody else is wrong. Like, yeah, I'm doing coke. I'm doing heroin. I think I did meth. I'm not sure. But I would read a lot of these letters, a lot more than made it into videos. And they all kind of like started as, you know what, it's not as bad as everyone tells you it is. And but they escalate into every bit as bad as everyone tells you it is.
Yeah. Not even once.
Yeah. My brother-in-law died from a heart attack because he did coke.
Damn.
Yeah, and it was a shame because the heart it damaged his heart. And he was a vice president of a bank. He had a family. He must have been. Was he doing a lot? Was he a cocaine abuser? Or? He did it in college, basically. One would guess that he did too much because it did kill him. But
how do they?
I'm sure you could work on coke. That whole.
I'm wondering, did they directly link it to that? Like, was that what the doctors said and everything?
It was a known thing before he died that his coke had damaged his heart, and he was like, sort of trying to regulate it, and like.
And he just did it in college?
I can't. I feel like I'm talking outside of my expertise, but that's pretty much it. It peaked in college.
Because I fear about people like doing so much that they ruin their nose. The inside of their nose is gone, but their hearts don't give out.
That's how this came up to me. Like you said, what was the drug your high school people did?
Oh,
they sucked dick for this drug.
Oh, meth.
Meth. Yeah. Okay, it was coke. When I was in high school, cokeheads came, and the guy took it was like a twine or like a cloth string, and he went through one nostril and out the other and sort of demoed how coke had burnt a hole in his nose. And I think people can do that anyway or something, can't they?
But they're going up back here. You can do it too. He didn't have anything in between the nostrils, though. I think
he had it was a much less of a talent.
Yeah,
he just kind of stuffed it over.
Get yourself a spaghetti noodle and just keep snorting it, and eventually it'll come out your throat or out the other nostril. I guess it would.
Or just look at a diagram online, and don't do that because that's disgusting. Don't tell people to sniff wet spaghetti.
Make some videos of you doing the spaghetti trick. Wasn't there a thing? People were snorting condoms. That was like
that was Jackass, wasn't it?
That was a thing for a little while.
It was a thing on YouTube where people were repeatedly snorting condoms, and I think somebody hurt themselves. Like it's
you can kind of
suffocate.
How would you hurt yourself sniffing a rubber bag into your mouth and nose where you breathe? Yeah.
Yes.
Asshole.
I think that's what happened.
yeah, that's what went wrong. I think.
At least perforated a bit, for safety.
I don't know.
If you were dying in the next, if you knew you were going to die in a month, Woody, you wouldn't try just the poo-poo platter of extreme drugs just to see.
If I was to die in a month, I suppose it matters what those responsibilities are too. Like I would definitely, if I knew my end date was in a month, I'd be arranging my finances, and I'd have a lot of shit to get
assume
done.
All of that
a week with a lawyer, and you'd have that sewn up.
Probably.
Assume all that stuff.
You could be high during that.
Yeah.
Like you do meth while you're getting your shit arranged.
Yeah.
Get it done in half the time. More heroin time.
I definitely see the appeal of what you're talking about. But I also there are people who care about me who would consider every last moment to be important, and I wouldn't want to rob them of
Ask
that.
the wrong person, Taylor.
Kyle,
We
would
get
you-
fucked. Oh,
I'd
crazy style. I'd invent some drugs. Yeah, if you got a month left to live, you do anything you want, right? Like fuck everybody else's rules.
Yeah.
Live for you, because what's the point? It's
if
all
you've
about
got a month
me.
to live, and I know I'm gonna keep living, I'll come down to your house. I'll
You
do
will
it
want
with you.
to. Come with me. It's gonna be a shit show. I'm gonna be punching fucking rude ass waitresses. I'm gonna be spitting on crying babies. I don't give a fuck. We got 30 days to go here. It's gonna be like a Morgan Spurlock documentary called "Fuck It."
Yeah.
It's gonna be
Oh.
great.
You know what I might do? I could see myself going on a murdering rampage.
Gee, well, that's even darker than what I said.
But
there are people who care about me and want to spend every moment. I'd rather spend it sulking in the shadows, finding people who slighted me once in 6th grade.
There's some people who need killing. Like, I've got a list in my head.
So would
And,
you go Dexter on them? Is that what you do?
Why
Well,
even
if I
hide it?
only have a month to live, I don't know that I feel like I could not get caught for 4 weeks. Like, Dexter's a little extreme. I think I could just shoot a guy in another state and get back here, and they won't trace it to me for 4 weeks.
God.
It'd be a while.
Well, that's a dark turn. I just really wanted to live it up and have a good time.
No,
Maybe.
there's
that's what
some
I was
people that
thinking.
need killing, and
Who's on
yeah.
that list? It seems like you got quite a list.
I've never revealed any names on the list.
Safe.
Just in case I decide to to take care of some.
Well, the fact that you have a list already, I can just see the li- like this portion.
Have I shown you my manifesto?
I play this segment in court. I just want to be known that I like they're like, as you can see here, Mr. Woodward clearly had a list. He produced it for the audience. They all chuckled, and then he looked very seriously at the camera and nodded.
I was thinking to myself, like, so we're rebuilding the stable right now, and the contents of it aren't secure, right? Like, we're redoing doors and stuff, and I'm like, man, it would really suck if somebody robbed me, but that just happened once. That's it.
Well, I guess
You
you
think
shoot
there's
that
like a conclave of burglars that the guy's gonna limp back
Get
to?
around.
Don't go over there. I just went back to my
No,
thieves
I'd
guild.
say-
You're
oh,
spreading it to
understand.
the others.
I just feel like, but
No, Woody's gonna kill the guy and then hang him in the yard for the others to
yeah.
yeah, I wouldn't.
Crucify him. For
I don't see
thievery.
myself getting robbed twice. Ideally they tell all their robber friends, but no, it's certainly not the same guy. I think that's a killing offense.
You guys got the castle doctrine up there?
Yep.
Yeah, I guess you'd probably be okay.
Yep.
In your shoes, I'd probably a good bird shot peppering hurts like a motherfucker, and but they'll leave, and you won't. There won't be like a person dead at your house, that you would now have to deal with. I feel like it'd be better to just pepper
We'll
them.
need that backhoe after all, won't we, Kyle?
Oh god, that excavator. Yeah.
That's weird that Woody finally decided to go with a pig farm.
The big farm after all.
Yeah, we voted against that HOA. We're all set.
Yeah. You're like that guy from Snatch.
Yeah, feed them to pigs.
Yeah.
You know what this means?
Yeah, like 20 pounds of flesh a minute. Like,
So you want to see a
Great.
guy who runs over himself with his car?
I do, as long as afterwards we can watch the guy who hit the other football player with his helmet in the head.
Yeah, I like your idea too. All
is
right.
that those both sound promising. Is it the guy's fault that he gets hit by the car? Because that's always a stickler thing for me.
Go ahead
If
and
it's just
watch.
some guy walking around and he gets hit, I don't like watching it. It feels bad. But if it's some asshole trying to like moonwalk as he has his hands on the front of his F-150,
I believe
and then he gets run
he's
over.
driving kind of aggressively or something, and the guy behind him bumps him.
Well,
I'm not sure.
ready to watch?
Yeah.
where's
Oh,
the link?
we've been
Oh, you just
watching on the main
Well,
screen.
all I'm gonna say is he should have buckled up, and this would not have happened.
That's
a nice
true.
ride he's got there, though. Can
can you guys link it?
Up.
It's
in the
linked.
link, I think. It's an Imager link.
Oh, it's Imager.
You notice he's got that little toothpick thingy
Oh,
What toothpick thingy?
on the dash. It's being reflected onto the windscreen in the car that's being driven.
Where do I
the
look?
filming
Is
car.
it green?
There's one of those little toothpick things that's
Yeah. that you use
Oh,
to
that's what
floss,
that
and
is.
then-
I see. Yeah, it's the little floss, and it flies away at some point during the breaking.
it breaks.
My God,
Yeah.
who would have thought a Subaru driver would do that? A Subaru WRX. Usually they're so courteous on the road.
Those things haul so much ass. I don't know about that one in particular because it looks like a hatchback model that I'm not familiar with. But I drove a Subaru WRX, like whatever the performance model
They're
is.
quick.
It's
The
all-wheel
STI.
drive and 300 horsepower. Like it's outrageous, and it's a small car. It was as much power as the Mustang GT that year, but it was that little ass Subaru with all-wheel drive. It was.
I had
I saw a
friend.
list on the internet, and it was like the most ticketed cars. If I recall, the Subaru WRX STI or whatever the
That's
fancy
it.
one's called is the number one, like far and away. Like even beats Mustang and the little hopped up Civics that people have.
So I drive a Tacoma, and a Tacoma is a bit of a balance between like a big strong truck and a nimble car, right? It's somewhere in the middle of that thing. I had a friend who had like a Dodge Cummins turbo diesel. People don't know that it's a 3/4 ton truck. It was really nice. He also had a WRX STI, and that shit was a race car. And he raced it on weekends. It had they tore all the interior out to make it lighter. They put in a roll cage so he'd be race legal, and that was what he did. And it was like, damn, like that just seems like a really good setup. He has the spectrum covered, or at least the ends of it. You know, he's got the big comfy truck, and he towed a lot, and he's got the STI race car with the roll cage. Like that was where I wanted to be. I could even still make a case for it. It's for all
Did
my
you get a race car?
yeah, you know, for all my racing needs.
Yeah.
Dad sold his.
I need groceries now. You know?
You could totally get yourself a race-ish car for not that expensive. Dad sold that Chevelle that he restored for I think $11,000 today. So a guy just kept pestering him about it. He's not done with it yet. He hasn't finished, but so he sold it kind of.
We accepted an offer on our house today.
Oh, even
Yeah.
nicer.
Yeah, they I don't want to give away all the details, but I'm pretty happy with the offer.
I'll look it up on
I
Zillow.
haven't told the world. I don't think it'll be. Like, I haven't even gotten the paperwork yet, but it might be in my email. He said something about Jackie checking my email.
I'll check your email.
Yeah, that'd be great. But yeah, we're really happy with the offer, and that's just one less thing on my list of things to worry about.
Very nice.
It wasn't that we like needed the money or that like there was any kind of problem or anything, but I always worry that like an unoccupied house is steadily getting worse. You know, I went over there a week ago or so, and there was like a raccoon on the back porch. You know, when we lived there, raccoons didn't come on the porch and like do shit. I feel like the vermin are like making their way in toward the home. They're like they're all kind of like closing in on it. You know, there could be a broken window that doesn't get discovered. Well, it's showing a lot, so it would get discovered. But that's the sort of thing.
It's just such a. I love your fears here. I feel like these are so unwarranted. I would be afraid of squatters, but you are like. I feel like we're a week away from some sort of post-apocalyptic jungle taking place inside my house, like in the movies where like it's 20 years no humans and like the vines have grown in and there's monkeys living in the living room and shit. You're like the coons are moving in. They're on the back porch.
It's not a problem now, but so this isn't even a thing that could happen to us because you know the hoses that lead to the back of the washer.
Yeah.
Okay. There's usually a hot and cold, and the washing machine does its thing. Sometimes they burst, and then you've just got water like pouring. Ours actually burst in that house, like I don't know, shortly before we moved out. But
Where's
it just
the breaking point? I would imagine the end of the hose could get rusty and it could like break away there. But did the hose itself burst?
no, it was so there's the hose itself. And then the end of it is just like a garden hose. And then there's like a metal cylinder that clamps on the hose. And that cylinder clamping action seemed to be where it failed for us. And it just so happened Jackie was upstairs and she went over there and just turned the dials like you would a sink or something.
But if you weren't there, you'd have ruined the second floor of the house or wherever that thing was. You'd have ruined a lot of shit.
It was on the second floor. And it would have ruined the second floor. It would have ruined the first floor. And my parents have friends who took a 6-week vacation and that happened to them. Yeah.
You gotta
And
turn the water off. You can leave that long.
I wouldn't have known to do that, but it's a good idea the way you say it. And because the vacation was more than a month, 4 weeks, it was ruled unoccupied and their insurance didn't cover the damage.
Ooh.
So now our place, I don't know if it's occupied or not by virtue of the fact that we go there almost every week, but that's a risk we run.
Yeah.
Now, we don't have those hoses, so it shouldn't be a thing. But what if pipes freeze and I'm not there? It's not going to freeze in September in North Carolina, but I'm just happy to get the house sold, have a happy buyer, let them do their thing, and then no weird stuff will go wrong with it under my
You ready to watch
ownership.
this guy get hit with a football helmet? I don't think it's great for
I
discussion or
guess.
anything. I just want to see it.
I'm queued up at 0. Oh wait,
Same.
let me you know what? We've been doing so many video watching. Let me fix other people's videos. Can you hang on for a second?
Of course.
Thank
So if you want to look at this up later, it is Linden player hits Immaculata player with helmet.
Immaculata.
Immaculata.
All right.
Here's that game of football's going on. Rip roaring fun for the whole family.
So
Everybody thought
I'm
they'd
at 0 while I fix the
I am
things.
ready as well.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were doing play-by-play. and-
No, I was
You're gonna
just
run ahead.
getting the
Setting
setup.
it up.
Yeah.
And now
I want to look and see if I can tell who's going to get irritable.
on the subreddit, I've been getting a lot of advice on how to make it so that this is never a problem, and the advice is always bad. They're like, yeah, there's only like 2 layouts that you need to save or scenes or something. And it's not true. They fail to account for the fact that Skype can be a different size. I don't necessarily not touch it all week long. I use it every day. They there'd be a different layout for when Murka drops than there would for when Kyle drops, or when Kyle's video turns to an avatar versus Murka. There's like 20 different combinations of things that can go wrong. The guest can do it. Kyle can do it. Taylor can do it. The guest and Taylor can do it. And selecting subregions, Skype shuffles where they are in the app with everything. Anyway, I'm going on too long, but stop giving me advice unless you actually have a solution and you don't test it. So, are we ready?
I am ready. I'm excited.
Oh, God.
Are you back at 0?
Kyle, stuff we'll fucking watch.
I watched something completely different. It was horrible. I'm ready for the football game.
Ready, set, play. Lyndon,
Ready.
is this Jersey by chance?
Someone on the black jersey team is going to attack.
Oh, you're so racist. Oh, you're right.
It's because they're the defending team. They're going to get irritated when they score.
Whoa!
What an asshole. He rips
This guy in
player's
the- yeah.
helmet off and hits him in the head with it.
Wow, it was.
And it wasn't like a cheap shot. The guy in the white jersey was trying to push back on the guy in the black jersey. And as he's falling, trying to push, because the guy in the black jersey is backing up, he just snatches the helmet off his head in a swift motion. I guess the guy's chin strap had kind of unbuckled. And then he swings it like he's bowling and just cracks the guy right in the top of the head. Doesn't look
Yeah.
like it hurt him, though, which is impressive. But that was, what a piece of
Ooh.
shit. What an awful piece of shit
Yeah,
to do that in a high school football.
I'm watching it in quarter speed now. I'm pretty sure he face masks the guy, rips the helmet off, and then it's in one motion, swings back and swings forward. And, wow, quarter speed is really slow. Here we go. He's got he grabs it. I don't know if he is face masking. Yeah, he is. And then it's going to pop him in the head.
Yeah,
What
he
an
pulled the
asshole.
helmet off.
And his head
what the fuck?
jerks back when he hits it. My I didn't play football, but a friend of mine did, and he was always impressed by this. The coach had like just played for Michigan or something. He was kind of a badass, and all the players were so impressed because he played D1 football. And players would headbutt each other, right? There was a common thing that players would always headbutt each other. They'd get himself. This guy would headbutt the players. But the players were wearing a helmet and he wasn't, and he would like give it to them, and they always thought that was the coolest thing. So I guess somewhere right around here is the hardest spot in the on the head. That's where he hit him. So I guess you can take a punch. I know with boxing, like if you can't give him an elbow or something, you can take a punch on the top of your, like just above your forehead, and it does almost more damage to the guy's hand.
Yeah, it seems like a
Yeah.
very inopportune place to punch someone. Just running the.
Yeah, that's it. I feel like I'm not talented enough to like break down the Joe Lozon defense, but he does kind of a George Foreman thing. Foreman used to do this too. Like when he clamps up like that, he's all fucking elbows and forehead. There's nothing that you want to punch. And I had a very difficult time with it. I don't ever want to punch him.
Yeah, well, that guy was a real piece of shit.
He was.
He's in high school.
Penalized. Yeah, but that's something that you just don't do. Like, that's not like a one-time, freak out.
Have you ever...
It's like assault.
Have you embarrassed yourself, though, like that?
Of course. Yeah,
yes.
But not hurting someone. Like, not an aggressive move to hurt someone. Like, I've never
think the most
embarrassed
I've ever...
myself by, like, hitting someone in the face with a beer bottle.
But
like,
you hit someone with your stick or, like, hit him between the legs or, like, as a goalie?
Never done the between the legs thing. I told a story where I hit somebody in the ankle pretty soundly, I would say. It was a hard rap, but not to... Well, yeah, I guess so. But this is...
See, aren't you in
different.
this... Like, is it totally different or is it pretty freaking similar?
It's a little similar, Woody.
It's really similar. I'm embarrassed of this. And if you play hockey, you'll know this really violates hockey culture. I've told the story before, but there was a guy who was kind of getting the better of me. I think we were grinding in a corner, and I ended up falling. Grinding is you know what grinding is.
Yeah, I know.
The puck is against the boards, and we're both trying to get it to our teammates, pass it away so that it's to our advantage. And when he got the best of me and I ended up like on my ass, I kicked at him. I don't think I hit anything. But to kick at somebody with the bottom of your skates, even if it's his skates or shin pad like I was going at, in hockey is very frowned upon. It's like a cowardly, awful... not cool.
Bit of a faux pas, and also incredibly dangerous.
Yeah, those things are related. There's certain things in hockey, like third man in is another one, where like, if Taylor and I are in a fight, and Kyle, jumps in against me because he and Taylor are just, blood brothers. No, Kyle, there's like no situation in which they make it okay to be third man in. And anyway, so I see this guy, and I think, well... in the heat of the moment, without thinking it through, I've done similar jackassery. If it's not a pattern with him, maybe let it go.
Well, not let it go. Suspend him from the game for a few games. But, you're convincing me. Stop making sense and let me judge this kid with impunity. I am better than him.
Dude, especially for young people, I give him a big pass. I gave Duggar, not a pass, but a...
Who's Duggar?
Duggar's that like 19 and counting or something. And one of their kids touched his sisters or something in an inappropriate way when he was 15 or 16. And I guess, although I've never done that, I've never fondled my brother. I just feel like there's a justification to why they kind of wipe your records clean at 18. Like, if you're 16, that maybe doesn't need to follow you throughout adulthood. People do idiotic stuff at 16.
No, I disagree.
Mm-hmm.
I think maybe you're some stuff maybe, but I think like this guy, he's molesting his sisters throughout his childhood. At some point, we need to start writing that down. Like if no one ever like goes molested sister October 1st, 1994, then in 1997 when he rapes her, like we're gonna be like, came out of nowhere. How are we going to be so stiff on this guy? We've never had any sign before, but no. No one was writing it down forever until his parents were finally like, someone should probably start writing this shit down. And they report him to the cops. That guy's a scumbag. And the way that they pander to the religious right as some sort of shield to hold up, and you got the Palins and Huckabees of the world jumping to their defense just because they're also Christians. No, that's a bad guy. He's sick. That's a sick guy. Like regardless of how you feel about pedophilia, that guy's a pedophile. He likes little kids more so than Jared
regardless
Fogle.
Of how you feel. Obviously, I'm pro pedophile.
No, there's a huge split among the population.
I know a lot of you guys are pro pedophilia, but just me talking here. But seriously, like everybody, we nailed Jared Fogle's ass to a wall because he was trying to have sex with some 14 or 15-year-old prostitutes. Meanwhile, like this guy has been molesting his prepubescent sister for over a pattern of years. And I think it might have been a couple of siblings. And these kids were like 8 when he would do it at one point, and then 10 at another point. Nah. And you know what's going on all in between. Don't think that he molested the kid once when she was 8, and then like took a few years off, and then suddenly got caught the first time he tried it again, several years later. No, he's molested his children, his sisters throughout their childhood. I would guarantee it. Bad guy, nail him to the wall. Don't forget.
I don't know. How hot were the sisters?
They were like 8.
Like they were about an 8. They're about an 8.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Obviously it's bad behavior, right? There's no doubt about it. I just, when I think of my own like justice system that I would create, I feel like the purging of the records at 18 and giving people a fresh start makes a lot of sense.
Let me try to sway you. Here's the difference.
Carry on.
When I was 16 or 17, I did a lot of silly stuff. I like to break mailboxes. That was fun, I thought. I like to egg houses, not usually of strangers. That was usually directed towards someone I didn't like. Lots of juvenile stuff like that, like petty crimes, just destruction of property, mostly. I feel like, like there's no reason not to expunge that had I gotten in a lot of trouble when I was 16 or 17 for like crushing mailboxes, because that's clearly like a juvenile thing. It's just I was bored. I had frustrations to work out. It was not much to do around here kind of thing. This is different, though. The reason you expunge my record is because I'm going to mature when I turn 20, and I'm not going to be into breaking mailboxes. I'm going to be into GPAs. So that's okay. Meanwhile, you got this guy.
GPA is in grade point averages?
GPA, my grade point average.
At 20?
You didn't go to college.
Hypothetical me. This is hypothetical me.
Okay.
I'm just saying, for any. I also didn't get arrested for destruction of property. Hypothetical me. I'm just saying, destruction of property and those silly crimes like that should be expunged because it's an immature person acting out and doing something, that's natural. I feel like all young guys do that sort of stuff in one way or another. Maybe you don't drive right around crashing mailboxes, but you did something. But this guy has been molesting his siblings throughout childhood. But there's a pattern.
He was
there.
a child too, and don't you think that
he was?
I don't even know the
a teenager. He's a
like
teenager.
16, 17.
He's a teenager molesting actual children. I don't think 17 is a child. I think 17 is a grown-ass adult who can make some pretty big-time decisions.
I think especially at 17, people make some pretty bad sexual decisions. They're
when
still
I was
figuring
16,
shit out.
when I was 16, I was fully aware I couldn't fuck the freshman. I was fully aware at 16, don't fuck the freshman, you'll get in trouble. At 16, I knew this. And there were 18-year-olds fucking the freshmen, but I knew better because I'm not a moron. This guy is fucking his sisters throughout childhood, and you're like,
no,
I bet
not fucking them.
He's finger banging them then, Woody.
I thought the finger action was on top of the panties.
I have no idea. I don't even want to talk about the intricacies of it, but it is wildly inappropriate no matter what he did. Like, that's...
I really don't think we can minimize this. I feel like molestation is molestation. I don't think the little girl's saying, like, looking back, like, no, I'm not damaged at all. It was above the panties, guys. Above the panties. I'm a fully formed human being. No, she's still fucked up because she got, like, masturbated or something by her brother, like, throughout childhood. And like I was saying before, there's no way this happened 2 or 3 times or whatever the reports say, or however many times the parents. How far would it have to go in your own household before you report your own child to the police?
I think they didn't. I think they told a friend policeman.
It was definitely around for years if they finally turned him in. Because you know that they had a bunch of discussions with him beforehand. Like, we walked in on you again doing this with your sister.
Part of the thing. Like, he never faced court. He never got real therapy. They told a friend who was a policeman, and he kind of handled it informally.
How bad does it have to be before you do that? Like,
they had a 10-strike policy.
They clearly had a teenager 15,
that we know of. There's a lot of
16,
pitches
17,
we never saw.
Yeah.
With no learning disabilities, no excuses, no reason to say, well, in reality, this 15-year-old's a 7-year-old. He's exploring. No, you've got a child molester in this Duggar guy or whatever the fuck his name is, and he's going to continue to molest. I bet he's molested since, and he'll molest again because that's what sexual predators do. Bill Cosby didn't rape 50 women because he had a hard time getting pussy. Sexual predators do it. If they do it once, they'll do it again and again and again. The Duggar guy shouldn't have his record expunged because we need to be writing it down and remembering so that the next time he molests a child, it's the last time.
I agree with that. Definitely.
I feel like he's making his point so well, but he hasn't convinced me that he's right. I just, again,
Would you
people
feel
are
comfortable
idiots.
with him
Every
looking
decision.
after small children that were yours?
Well, no,
No.
of course not.
Of
Like,
course not.
No,
So
there has
why
to be a
wouldn't
line
you want
drawn.
something in place out there to at least put him on a different level than you are when it comes to him being allowed around small children? Shouldn't everyone with small children who ever lives near this guy know? I
Yeah.
would want to know. I got 2 little girls who are 7 and 8. Duggars living next door, the guy who likes to rub them above their panties a little. I don't want him. You're not rubbing my daughter above her panties or above anything. Like, no. Like, there's no acceptable way to masturbate my 7-year-old
There's
daughter, sir.
a compromise between what both of you guys are saying. Like an extreme sexual predator who does it repeatedly. Yeah, that you need to keep tabs on that. You can't just ignore it and pretend like it didn't happen. Like, oh, boys will be boys. Like, you can't
I
pull
would
that
simply
shit.
castrate
But if it's something like breaking a mailbox, or you get caught with a little bit of pot or something and you're 16, like a little like petty theft,
Shoplifting, right.
wipe that off. That's probably just pubescent idiocy. That's hopefully not a trend of the future, but some shit is just beyond the pale. Which
Yeah, I think that, and it would be different if they were like kids playing doctor, because that, and I feel like that's what the family has been trying. That's the damage control mode, right? That's what everyone wants to do. That's what the Palins and Huckabees want to go to. That, and they want to talk about Christian forgiveness as if that works in the criminal justice system. But that's bullshit. No, it wasn't little kids playing doctor. You had an almost adult 15, 16, 17-year-old, and you had I think a 7-year-old, like.
I'm not sure
maybe-
if you're. I know your numbers on the assaulter are good, 15 to 17.
Yeah.
The child, I'm not sure.
7, 8, 9 years old. It wouldn't matter to me if she was 10. She's in that range. I think the age of the victim changed over the years. I think maybe it began when she was 6 or 7, and like was happening during like the 8th and 9th years or something.
Yeah, it's getting pretty hard to defend. As a general philosophy, I do like the idea of giving people a clean slate at 18, because people are idiots when they're young. But I'm also starting to, you're winning me over on but some things we remember. And it also, it's true. Like if he committed this, sexual assault at 7, I'd be more inclined to forgive it than 17.
Don't even care. If 2 7-year-olds are fucking like, the parents should be in trouble, but the children shouldn't. Like why do those 7-year-olds know how to fuck? like little problem there. But
You guys are watching the Discovery Channel too much over there.
Maybe, and I'm sure that could even happen. But
at 17, you start to try him as an adult.
I feel like he knew what he was doing. He knew what he was doing was wrong.
Oh, for sure.
I feel like his parents knew what he was doing. I bet it was just like that Chris Rock routine where he was talking about like everybody's got an uncle who's this or that. He's like, everybody got the gay uncle. Everybody got that molester uncle. He's like, everybody's got that molester uncle. Your mom will be like, where's them kids? Like with Johnny. Oh, get them kids away from Johnny. Get them kids away from Uncle Johnny. Like, everybody's got the molester uncle too, and you don't let them near him. I guarantee the parents to go along with that were like, yeah, let's not leave Bill with the girls. Like we're going on vacation. Who's going to watch the kids? I'll watch them, Mom and Dad. Like, I'll look after the girls. Nah, actually, we're going to send you to that camp again this year. No, there's something wrong with that guy. I don't like him. I hate their whole family and everything they're for. And I really despise the way that, like, Palin and Huckabee and even the Sean Hannitys of the world, those motherfuckers, will, like, jump right into their corner.
I didn't know anyone was defending them.
Huckabee in particular. Kim
ridiculous.
Winslow's another one.
I'm not familiar.
I hope I have her name right. She's the one that didn't want to issue the marriage license.
Oh, that's not the right name then.
Kim Davis.
Yeah.
Oh.
Kim
Davis
Winslow is a MMA referee.
Is that a female MMA referee?
Yes. Yeah.
Is she hot? Fair enough.
That's a no.
No, she's in shape, but she's just not pretty.
I only cared if you were like, yes.
Kim
that was the only way
Davis.
I was going to check.
She is.
Let's hope this fight gets out of hand and she's got to jump in there. Yeah.
Kim Davis is the one. She is so unattractive. She is what I think of as a very common churchgoer, right? Like churchgoer / Walmart shopper.
Did you
Parents
see
don't-
the talking about that? Like talking about Kim Davis in the debates, where they took it because the way I see it, yeah, shouldn't be in jail, but she should be fired. Like I think she's an elected official, so that probably throws some
I think she's sworn-
salt into that game. But I mean, you have to uphold the law. You can't just suddenly be like, oh no, this isn't okay with me. I'm not marrying you. I know it's my job literally to do this. The guy at Long John Silver's can't take your order, and then when he sees you're black, when you pull up, be like, oh, no hush puppies for you, sir. Like you can't pull that shit. You're working for a company that you can't just selectively decide who to serve. But they were saying, I think it was Rubio who was saying something along the lines of like, we just need to make a list of what jobs can conservative Christians not have in this country? Can we not be caterers? Can we not work in the government anymore to fight for our freedoms, to take away rights from other people? Like, did you hear that whole diatribe?
I've heard a lot about this, and I've done a lot of thinking about this, and I even heard, in the debate they were talking about the various candidates had different thoughts about it. So here's what I think. It sounds on one hand, it seems that she's saying basically, my religion says this is wrong. I refuse to do it, despite the fact that I'm sworn to uphold the law or to carry out the law and my duties. That seems a lot like the Saudi Arabians or some other theocratic Middle Eastern group imposing Sharia law on someone and saying, no, you have to do this because the Quran says this or that. At the same time, however, you would hope that America would be a place where if you do you do have this issue that she has, where clearly it's not just bigotry. I don't think that. I think I do think she is probably a bigot, I don't think that it's her bigotry motivating her here. I really do believe it's her faith, which I don't sign off on, but it's still a real thing.
I feel like faith in...
She wouldn't go to jail over bigotry. She will go to jail over faith.
I just feel like the faith inspires the bigotry. There's really not a lot of difference. If you go back to the 50s, if you go back to the 50s when faith was stopping interracial marriages, that was still bigotry. Now, in the modern day, when faith is stopping same-sex marriages, it's just bigotry. It's our version of the race wars.
I can see her side of it to some extent, although I just strongly disagree with it. And I would think that it would be more appropriate in this sort of scenario to have one of her deputies sign the thing than to put her in jail. It just seems like jailing her because of this doesn't. For some reason, it feels wrong. I think you won't find a bigger proponent for gay marriage than me. I really don't even fucking get it. And whenever those nasty fucking Huckabees of the world want to compare it to marrying a dog, my instant response is yes, we should be able to marry the dogs too. Marry the dogs, the turtles, a rock. I should be able to marry any inanimate or animate object or thing I wish to because it's me, motherfucker. Don't fuck with me. That should be the end of it. And if she's jamming up the legal process, then that's no good. She's either got to go, or she's got to do her job. Unless there's a deputy there who can sign the thing right on through, and everybody can just walk away happy. You don't have to force her to into a corner to make her do a thing and be like, do it or else. Like you can't make her believe what you believe, just like she can't make you believe what she believes. Just find a compromise in that sort of scenario.
I'm somewhere along the middle in here. Trump said she's in the wrong job. And I'm like, yeah, she really is. Now,
Totally.
What if she was self-employed and she was a caterer and she said, I don't do gay weddings? I feel like she shouldn't have to.
Nope.
I feel like, I can't, while I think she should, I think it's mean and rude and bigoted.
They probably pay better, too.
They might. It's mean and it's rude and it's bigoted to not, cater a gay marriage. I also feel like it's your freedom to do that. I can't compel you to serve a gay person.
What if it's a black person?
Same thing. You should be able to pick and choose the jobs that you can do.
It's almost a self-healing thing in a way. Like every time something like that happens, the reason we know about that catering story is because a company refused to cater a gay wedding. Mm-hmm. Like nobody's going to use that company anymore. Like the market's going to make
surprised.
Its decision. And, well, there may be some, but I feel like those companies
they're all making huge
are going to drive themselves. Yeah, they're making big mistakes. They're going to drive their own business out.
You come to my conservative Christian bakery and want a birthday cake, Jim and Bob. you're gonna get the worst tasting wedding cake. It's gonna be lumpy. It's gonna be awful. It's not even all gonna be the same color. I'm gonna run out of the fucking fontaine or whatever, and I'm gonna have to go to like blue on the back side of the cake. And I'm like, here you go. It's the best I could do.
What if, as a way to be like terrible, you jerked off in the cake and they loved it? Right? Because they're gay.
Why would a person who's against the gay
You're like,
that?
I'll show them.
Now it sounds like you're just like a closeted gay baker who's like, fucking faggots, I'll show you with your tight asses and your ripped abs. like that's like that's coming from a dark place.
Yeah, it's like
it's
it's worse than spitting in the food, right?
Like you're
It
jerking
is
off
worse
on the two grooms on the cake. Like, oh, yeah. Faggots.
Yeah.
Oh, you're so dirty. Yeah.
Yeah, my mom watches this show.
Well, I mean, you already insulted all the churchgoers, so I'm sure she's already tuned away by now. She's on the way to get your father right now.
Yeah, right?
She's not hearing this.
It's yeah. When I was my father told me about how he found faith and it gave him sort of a happiness and contentness and etc. And that was what made me think about the heroin. His story of finding God and plugging that hole in himself, and it brought like a peace to him. And yeah, I don't know, just like heroin. Was there a hair out of line?
Yeah. I like I grabbed mine and like put it back with the rest, and Taylor's like, yeah, let me get that fucker back
Wanna
down.
be like,
little character here. Yeah.
there you go. Oh yeah, a little Superman cosplay.
pretty
I
cute.
can't even do that.
Yeah.
I have a whole new topic.
Okay.
I think you guys want to hear about it. Chiz is living at my place here, helping me out, and all wrapped up to the subreddit fussing at him. You want Chiz Talk?
Yeah, I want to do. Can I open this?
Please.
Can I
want
give my
Chiz
thoughts?
Talk with respect to Chiz. You've been with him closer than us. I don't want to tread on anything that.
Go ahead, Kyle.
Yeah.
Open up.
Okay. So, all right. So here's the state of Chiz, as it were. All right. So Chiz came along on that survival trip, even though he's not one of the hosts or anything. He showed up and did his thing. I was reading through the comments on the subreddit, and I thought somebody made a good point. They said something like, Wings wouldn't drive a couple hours to do this thing. Meanwhile, Chiz, under his own expense, took a fucking stagecoach across the country to suffer for this thing. Now, while it's clear that Chiz wasn't out there hacking down trees, he wasn't out there, starting fires and doing great, entertaining things, he was out there. And that was a big part of it. Just going on that trip is a big step that most people refuse to make, or can't make. But he made sure that he did do it, and he came out there. As far as him always seemingly to be sitting there smoking cigarettes and sitting in that hammock, a lot of the filming happened when we were relaxing in the evenings. And we all had kind of the same spot we'd relax in, and that was his. He was smoking a lot, but he's a smoker. I had no problem with that.
Ex-smoker.
Ex-smoker. He was a smoker. So look, did Chiz do an outstanding job on the survival trip? No, of course not. Like he was struggling with it for a lot of reasons, and he's got tons of excuses. But I never heard him really make too many. Like he just did the best he could and suffered through it. I don't know why you guys are giving him such a hard time. I know there's a vocal minority who absolutely despise him. I think there's also a not so vocal minority that like him a lot, and the rest of you may be lukewarm or something. The truth is, he's a really great guy. He's funny to me. I think he's entertaining, and he works for this show harder than any of us, I think. I know Woody does all the graphic work, and he's putting in some time behind the scenes, but Chiz really puts a lot of time in behind the scenes for the show. Like, he's running down sponsors and stuff, and he's as big a part of why this show, things like the survival trip even happened, as any of us are. Like, Chiz really made that survival trip happen. He was the architect of the survival trip, so I wish you guys wouldn't be so hard on him. I know you think it's playful. I see you guys posting things like, let's roast Chiz. But people don't like being roasted. Like, that's funny on TV when it's a celebrity, and they're volunteering to be roasted because of all the free advertising that they're getting. No one wants to be roasted. No one wants to be picked on. And it's a lot of mean juvenile stuff. It's a lot of hurtful stuff, and just wish you guys wouldn't do it because he's a great guy. He works harder for this show that you guys claim to love than anyone, and he doesn't deserve it.
Chiz, he works. Chiz, people are talking about Chiz. Someone compared him to Jimmy on Grand Theft Auto. I'm a little out of place here because I haven't even played the new game, or a little bit, but whatever. I don't know Jimmy, but my impression was that Jimmy doesn't really have his act together, and Chiz does. Chiz has his act together in a lot of ways, except one, and that's fitness, and he's fixing it. And I just don't get where all this fussing comes from. And I think that some people, they don't know what it's like to be on the other side of the one-sided relationship. You might feel like you know Chiz and that your jokes are just jokes, but he doesn't know you, and they come across as hate from a stranger. And you've probably never had hate from a stranger. You've probably never had 2 weeks of what seems like hundreds of people just constantly attacking you, and you think that, you know, nothing should happen. I'm getting a clue on who Jimmy is.
It's not a compliment.
Jimmy does. Now, if you had to actually pick a YouTuber who looked like Jimmy, who would you say?
I don't know. I can't think of
Control Shift
YouTubers
Tab.
right now.
Oh, I know who you're thinking of, but I don't think it's a compliment, and I don't want to say it out loud.
So I wouldn't say it out loud. Exactly. They do this all the time. They sort of like, oh, look, he's Jimmy, ha ha. But you're clearly like, it's a dig. You know, you're clearly picking on Chiz.
Yeah.
When
Do you want to be Jimmy? You know,
Yeah.
whenever
I
they
don't
say,
want you.
who's the comedian who's very good at roasting people? Jim Norton? Is that his name?
I don't know how many roasts he does.
He went to a prison recently and made fun of people. I think it is Jim Norton.
Oh, it might be Jim. I know Greg Giraldo is really good, but he's
Yeah,
dead.
he is. Yeah. He's dead?
Greg Giraldo? I think he died in like 2010. He died before Patrice O'Neal did.
Well, that's a damn shame.
Drug
Yeah.
overdose. I think.
Anyway, I got someone who recently was
good.
saying that I look like Jim Norton. Is this the guy you want to look like? I'll give you a link.
This is also Jimmy.
They
They said you look like Jim Norton.
Yeah, they said I look just
Look,
like this guy.
Nothing like Jim Norton.
I don't. I have short hair. I just don't really think I look like him.
I have this theory that our fans are retarded because whenever they come up with a look-alike for one of us, it's just like, first of all, it's rarely complimentary, and when it is complimentary, like when you compare me to some hockey player or some football player somewhere that is good-looking or whatever, I'm like, yeah, that's a good-looking guy, but he doesn't look like me. You'll find a guy who like has like my mouth. And like, oh look, it's Kyle! It's Kyle! It's Kyle's brother. Like, no, it's just a guy with my mouth. No, or it's a white guy. Look, it's Kyle. You know, that's a white guy. That's white guy. Like no, like you
He's
guys
got
are so
brown hair.
bad. I want to put that thing in front of you with like the stars and the squares and the circles where you got to put them all on the holes. Because like I don't think it really worries me if one of you motherfuckers had to give like a police sketch because they'd arrest me right away. You'd be like, it looks just like Kyle. That's who it looks like. Like no matter what, it's shocking how the people that you people think look like me or Taylor or Woody or Chiz.
I don't
or
even
Wings.
have people most of the time. They're just like, oh, you look like the owl from
An
the
owl.
Tootsie Pop commercial.
Any character with like an eyebrow or something. Any fat guy with facial hair is Wings. Like anyone with sort of a similar facial structure to Woody or myself is us.
They did get me pretty good with that guy at the beginning of Inglorious Bastards, I think. who's
that guy
talking
looks
to,
like you.
Yeah.
Yes.
That one's pretty good.
Monsieur Lapidite.
But
You look like
as far as Chiz goes,
milk.
Chiz, Chiz is doing great work for PKA. He books all the guests. We didn't have a guest tonight because of two things. One, the guest he had booked canceled 2 hours beforehand. I don't even know who it was. And we asked Chiz if he wanted to fill in, and he said, no, you guys are giving me such a hard time. I think that I should take a break, lay low for a little bit. And that's why there's three of us tonight. So, some of you are probably happy about that, but I'm not. And I wish you guys would back off a little bit.
Yeah.
I like having Chiz on the show. He's fun to bounce off of.
Yep.
Like-
Chiz is a smart guy. Chiz is smarter than most of the guests we get on here. He's smarter than most of the people I talk to on a daily basis.
And he talks to me a lot.
You are
Yeah.
short.
So, falling short.
Taylor said, "You're in Georgia."
I missed
Fair
it.
enough.
Yeah, I didn't hear what he said. And Chiz is helping me around here. I'm really pleased with how it's going. He works. He never complains. And he's not an expert in construction. Neither am I, for that matter. But I'm much further along than he is. And you know what he does? He helps when he sees something he can do. And that's all I really want. If I'm carrying something heavy, he automatically grabs the other side. If I'm doing something that, like, I don't know, a lot of the things we do involve like almost monkey bar activity. He's
I want to see this. I want to see this monkey. And I want you to really play it up. I want like I want you to make it seem like everything has to be done this way. And if I can describe what he's doing, he's got these rafters above him, and he's standing on a ladder. So what he'll do to move around quicker is sometimes he'll hold on to the rafter and just grab the ladder with his legs and move it to where it needs to go. Sometimes he'll just monkey bar around out there. So he's doing some monkey construction.
Yeah.
I want to see that.
And it's an old stable. So if you can imagine, like their walls are 10 feet wide, right? So if I need to go from one wall to the other, I'll just like go, and then I'm on the other wall and I can kind of stand there. Or a lot of times there'll be a ladder in the middle and it's only 5 feet to carry. So I'll just, I monkey all over, hang, put a nail in, a couple nails in, do my job. And so Chiz is not the monkey bar guy. That's not one of his the things he can do yet. But if I'm doing that, today, for example, I was doing that and he was cutting all the boards to size. So I would say I need one that's 20 and 5/8, and then he'd make that happen. He'd deliver it to me. I'd put it in place and we're working together. And he never complains. He never stops working. And there are times when I see him, not frequently, but sometimes he's bent over exhausted, like you can almost imagine the headache he has, that he's worked himself as hard as he can work. And he's like that.
Not even a cigarette to calm himself.
And he doesn't say a word. He just takes the breath he needs and gets back to work. And it's encouraging to me. Like I see, like I've gone out of shape and come back into shape several times, and I know how awful it is. And it's like, yeah, he's paying the toll right now. The toll that it is to get back in shape. I can see him doing it. And, week by week, it'll get better and better. So,
do you have him on a workout regimen? Like
no. This isn't any kind of fat camp. He's just out there. We put in probably 4 hours a day or something, like, on average.
It's like working out, building something for 4 hours a day. That's a lot of work.
That's about right. Yeah. And, the last couple of days we've been taking 2x6 by 12 foot and 2x6 by 14 foot rafters and putting them in place. We also have these 10 foot 2x12 pressure treated headers that we've been putting in place. It's heavy stuff to be pulling around and holding above your head and nailing in place, and we do it all day long. And he's been great. So leave him the fuck alone, everybody. You're being kind of a jerk.
Yeah, Chip's a great guy and doesn't deserve all that shit.
Yeah, no one should give Chip a hard time. He's going to be mad at me for continuing this. But
no, he's fine. Yeah, Chiz is a good guy. Don't pick on him.
And I'm not just saying this. Like, I don't know. Like, I know his finances, and I don't know how much he'd want me to talk about them. But I can tell you, he's got his act together, and a lot of people don't see him as successful. I see him as a pre-millionaire. The way that he earns and the way that he saves is he's on the path. And they see him as like incompetent or not hardworking. All those things are off target. The only thing that's on target is that he's currently heavy and working it off. Leave him the fuck alone.
Be an all-star, jack of all trades once he gets that weight off.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, he said he was like 300. What's a goal weight for someone that height? Like one.
Yeah, he's 6'3", I think. At 6'3", 180 sounds
190?
light. At 6'3", I think if he hit 210, he'd look pretty good.
Nah, he can do better. He can get down into those ones, and I think once he gets down there low, he'll want to see that one. Yeah. Or maybe he'll start working out a fuck ton. Get that bear bod.
So I just searched.
Because I know I'm comfortable 170, 175-ish. Could be a little thinner.
Oh, you're right, actually. It looks like ideal weight ends at 199 for his weight. Huh. I would have gone a little higher. It's just a chart. Who knows? But, 199.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, he's losing weight. He's not smoking. Helping build shit.
Yeah, he's not smoking. And sometimes I wonder, like, am I sure he's not smoking? But, dude, like, cigarette smoke to a non-smoker is the
It's
most.
very pungent. You can pick it out right away.
Yeah, I swear you could pick out, like someone smoked in that shirt 3 days ago. Like you'd never buy a car that a smoker owned. I think he just totally quit cold turkey weeks ago.
Like if you go to a friend's house and like spend the night there or something, and you need extra clothes, and that friend's a smoker, and they take like a clean shirt out for you, it's not like overwhelming that you smell cigarettes, but you smell it. Like you smell like stale cig smoke when that happens. Like, of course they don't notice it, just like, you don't notice the smell of your cat's litter box, even though everybody who walks in is like like a fucking ammonia factory. Ugh. But people notice that stuff.
Kyle,
Yes.
mid-roll, please.
Abso-fucking-lutely. All right.
Did you just put a hoodie on, or did you have that on before?
I had it on before. It's cold down here. I actually, I'll talk about it after this. Casper is an online retailer of premium mattresses for a fraction of the price. The mattress industry has inherently forced consumers into paying notoriously high markups. Casper is revolutionizing the mattress industry by cutting the cost of dealing with resellers and showrooms and passing that savings directly to the consumer, while still being an American-made mattress. A Casper mattress provides resilience and long-lasting support comfort. Casper's mattress is one of a kind, a new hybrid mattress that combines premium latex foam and memory foam. Mattresses can often cost well over $1,500, but with Casper, mattresses cost between $500 for a twin-size mattress, $750 for a full-sized, $850 for a queen-size, and $950 for a king-size mattress. Casper understands that buying a mattress online can have consumers wondering how this is possible. Buying a Casper mattress is completely risk-free. Casper offers free delivery and returns within a 100-day period. That means you could try this mattress out for 100 days and then send it back risk-free. It's that simple. Statistically, lying on a bed for 4 minutes in a showroom has no correlation to whether it's the right bed for you. That's why Casper has turned the buying process into a risk-free experience. Casper understands the importance of truly trying out a mattress that in all reality you spend a third of your life on. So get $50 toward any mattress purchase by visiting casper.com/PKA and using the code PKA at checkout. PKA.
Awesome. Coupon code PKA, $50, and $900 for a king size is cheap. I
think
paid
I'm just
more
gonna
than
do
double that.
And
it's 8 something with the coupon.
So like maybe a few months before I broke up with my ex-girlfriend, the last one. I had bought her a brand new like $1,200 mattress, and I was loving it so much. It was such a wonderful mattress. So I think it's time to get myself one. And $950 doesn't. Oh, $900 when I use offer code PKA at checkout. So yeah, I think I'll make that happen. You know what I'm gonna do though?
No.
Did you see that post on Reddit for the the levitating bed platform?
Yes.
I'm going to do that. That is super simple, super easy to do. That's just basic like carpentry. I'm going to do that.
Cool.
As soon as I saw that, I was like, at first I was like, I bet this is hard. I bet there's a lot going on underneath it. But then I saw the DIY guide, and it was like, this is fucking easy. I can do this. It's like, I don't even need any specialty tools. It's just fucking saw and hammer and nails. It's going to be fun. I want that.
Do it. That sounds cool. Yeah. So check out Casper. Use coupon code PKA, $50 off. And this is how you buy mattresses now. All right. Oh, Taylor, you are muted.
I am muted. Didn't want the sound of, well, anyway. So.
What could that sound have been?
So many nefarious acts that you can do in a minute. But
this is going to be a fog rolling in across the thing.
Yeah. I didn't do anything. We should talk about the clock kid.
Yeah. Ahmed Muhammad, right? That's the
kid Muhammad.
Now I will say this about the Arab people. It seems like is it us too? Is it all people? Do we all have these names that repeat? Like we're not all named John Smith. I don't know any John Smiths. How many Nguyen's do you? If they're Vietnamese, it's like they're all named Nguyen. Like 60% of them are, and like Spanish names seem or Mexican names seem like there's tons of really common ones.
Yeah.
Here is Ahmed Muhammad. Like I hear that name constantly, so it's really easy to never forget this poor child's name. I was interested in this story when I first saw it. I followed it from the beginning to the end. Can I lay it out there?
Please.
Oh,
So apparently this kid, he's 14 years old. He's a Muslim student in Texas. Is it? I want to say it's the Sudan that he's from, and that I do know for a fact that his father regularly returns home to the home country to run for president. They seem like that's the thing. Yeah, they seem like very nice people. But here's what happened. He goes to school and he's got a homemade digital clock. He assembled components in this little briefcase thing, and it's a digital clock. And I looked at it and immediately said, "That's a digital clock. There's no explosive material."
A digital clock in a briefcase? This sounds
Yeah.
very much like the bomb from Search and Destroy.
That's true.
Yeah, minus the big bricks of plastic explosion.
Okay. carry on.
like what he had at best was a timer. You know, he had a digital clock. It was clear. Like, you can look at the components, and I'm no electrical engineer, but I can identify two of them, and I know that third one probably is a capacitor of some kind. Like,
It
it's
does
basic
look
shit.
a little sketchy when it's turned off and there's that red plate up there, and it's like, what's behind that plate?
Granted.
And so I can understand them wanting to look at it and sift
Yeah,
through.
yeah, sure. Definitely want to look at what you've got there, Ahmed. But once I looked at it for literally like 40 seconds, I'd be like, this is really cool, man. Did you do this from a kit? Did you buy these components separately? Did you disassemble and reassemble? How'd you do this? You're a smart little kid. Move on about your day. Instead, the faculty freaked out, called law enforcement. Law enforcement treated this kid like he was a junior terrorist. I'm reading some reports where they're quoting the section codes of the law book, and they're saying that his rights were trampled upon. But regardless of that, I could tell just from him repeating what the officer said to him, and from some of the other stuff that was out there, like the way they were speaking to this kid, they were treating him like he was a junior terrorist. They were being really accusatory. They were accusing him of building a bomb and asking him why he's bringing it. You know, they don't ask you, did you build a bomb? They say, why did you bring a bomb to school? That's the kind of questioning we're talking about. So they really treated him like shit. It was a while before his parents got in there and got him out of there. He's still currently suspended by the school. But here's the best part. As soon as the internet found out about this, of course, everyone rallies to this kid's side. He's got 3 million retweets or something on Obama's tweet to the kid or something like that. Obama invites him to the White House. He says something like, I'm going to paraphrase, he says something like, "Cool clock. Why don't you bring it by the White House?" And I feel like he's doing two things. One, he's taking a real jab at the law enforcement and the faculty down there who stirred all this shit up. He's saying, "That's a cool clock you got there." Like, he's just looking at a picture of it. Cool clock. Like basically saying any rational adult would come to the same conclusion. It's a cool clock. Why don't you bring it to the White House? I feel like he's really just rubbing shit in all of those ignorant people's faces.
Yeah, that's one. And then he's pandering to all hell on the back of an easy, roller coaster.
Really? Is there nothing he can do?
He
that's
does
right?
this shit all the
No,
time.
if any president or politician did this, part of
You know
them
who
is
he
pandering.
who he had over the White House the day before yesterday? He had those heroes who stopped that gunman in Paris. He's always inviting people over who have done cool things in the world and the community, and he's always doing that sort of thing. Whether that's pandering or not.
You better tweet me and say "cool stable" when this shit's all wrapped up.
Yeah,
Right?
Cool stable. Want to stop by the White House and go to space camp?
So then, world famous astronaut Chris Hadfield tweets the kid and gives him some ticket to some magical space camp. NASA's tweeting at him. MIT and Harvard are. They all want him to. They're not giving him a scholarship or anything. They're like, come here. We want to treat you
How
to
old is he?
whatever we have. Huh?
Is he 14?
Yeah, 14.
We should totally tweet him and be like, "Hey, cool clock. Why don't you come over to my house and check out the auto blow? You could be a PKA guest."
That's a tweet for you. That definitely is for you. That'll fit right in. But I like this a lot. I have two thoughts. I don't know which is funnier. One, what if this kid's a real dumb, right? Like, what if this kid just connected some wires together and the clock doesn't even work? He got in a bunch of shit.
He just gnawed out a hole with his teeth in the briefcase and stuck a clock in it.
Now, an accidental. Maybe his parents put it together for him. I had my parents helped me build my solar oven in the 3rd grade. I was fucking 8. Like, what were you gonna do? You got to help me. So, I'm sure his parents helped with his digital clock, right? Like, What if he's a real dum-dum, though, and now he's got to go to MIT, he's got to go to Harvard, he's got to go to fucking NASA, then he's got to go to the White House, and he's got to keep up the lie of being really smart. Like, this sounds like a great miniseries. Like, I want the cameras to follow this kid and him to be way out of his depth.
He has
Or
to explain all of it every time, like the nice little questions they ask, just trying to be nice, like, how'd you build the clock? I smashed another clock with a hammer and I put it back together again. It's like, oh, what? Like, this isn't what we thought.
well, Papa, he started by disassembling our clock. And no.
Yeah.
But
he's
the
like,
other thought is this. What if this is a master ISIS plan? This guy has been going back and forth to a dangerous part of the world. Maybe he's bringing instructions back. Maybe he's been programming that child since birth to carry out one mission and one mission only. Blow up the president of the United States. And that fake clock he made that looked like a bomb is actually a bomb. And
just
he's
one
gonna
ingredient short. And he's going to
one
revise
ingredient
it.
short. Yeah. And where's that ingredient held? In the Oval
Sudan.
Office. Yeah, that would be. I saw that on 4chan. They were discussing the possibility. What if he's a terrorist? What if he's actually like gonna go kill Obama now? Like that would be the most ridiculous
4chan
storyline ever.
Yeah, funny things to say about it. Someone was like, he should join the Cool Clocks clan.
Some witty, creative people over there. There's a lot of original content.
But
yeah, I was upset by this thing when I first heard about it because it's like.
shitty.
Texas, you embarrass yourself like every other day. Like I love Texas and like what I feel like Texas stands for. I love it. I feel like it's all about individualism and this idea of self-reliance and even there's 3 power grids in the United States, like 3 major ones. There's the East, the West, and Texas. That's a real thing. They have their own power grid. A lot of Texans consider themselves an entity unto themselves. Like, we're kind of in the United States of America, but first and foremost, we're fucking Texas.
Yeah.
So, like,
I don't like that.
I like the bravado they have.
Hawaii does that too, and fuck them.
Anytime we want Hawaii, any fucking time we want. You pineapple eating savages. So this thing with Texas, though, I like Texas. I like the whole history of Texas. We took that shit. Those Mexicans were down there living it up in old Mexico, and we were like, nah, that's Texas, motherfucker. And we just took that shit. I like that. I don't care what anybody thinks. I like that. What I don't like is like the bigotry. Like come on. Like clearly this wouldn't have happened, I don't think, if this kid was white. Although nowadays with the zero tolerance policies that many of the schools have, if you chew your Pop-Tart till it looks like a pistol, they'll suspend you. Like, that's a thing that's happened.
That's ridiculous. You can take one bite out of a Pop-Tart and make a reasonable pistol.
That's
like, if
the
you take a big
problem.
bite, that's
Yeah.
you're limiting people's freedom to eat shapes into whatever they want.
Well, he ate it into a pistol and then, like, mock shot another child. That was a suspension. Zero tolerance policies just don't work. At all. I don't believe in really any scenario, really.
Zero tolerance and what is it called? Mandatory minimums. That's the one I'm looking for. I don't like them either.
No, it's
Takes away the context of all the situations and what could be going on.
Let the judges judge. It's what they do.
yes, I agree. But yeah, Texas really embarrassed themselves there with that this thing with Ahmed Muhammad. His dad and his parents and himself have all been taking the super smart move and taken the high road big time. Like Woody described it earlier, Ahmed's father brought pizzas out to the media that are like all in their yard. Like there's like 20, 30 cameramen, 10 or 15 more crew, probably 30 neighbors out there. Everybody's stopping and staring. Dude comes outside with pizzas for everybody. Like that's a big league move. That's smart. Like you could have came out there like Britney Spears and like beat them up with an umbrella and made yourself look like a piece of shit or a piece of trash, but instead really took the high road and they look great. So when that sleeper cell activates and the White House explodes next week, you'll all know why.
Do you think he was passive aggressive with the pizzas, like
I'll be right
Little
back.
Caesars
He was
anchovy
smiling.
pizza?
He had Domino's, I think. He looked like a really genuinely nice guy. And so did the kid. The picture of that kid though, like who took that picture of him in handcuffs being led away? Did you ever stop to think that? Like who took that picture?
Wait, they might not think that he was a true danger. Get a picture of this nefarious felon before we tote him off.
I haven't seen anyone bring that up. And to the audience out there, check on this for me, because I don't know how to figure it out. Who took that picture and under what circumstance? Well, I know the circumstance. He's being led away by the police out of his out of what looks like the principal's office in handcuffs. And someone snapped a picture, and you can see the look on the kid's face says what I think. It's like, why? What are you doing? Like, is my day not bad enough? Like, I just got arrested for bringing my clock to school, and you're taking a snapshot.
You think that, like, I know that everybody handled it so poorly the whole way, but even if there was, like, a teacher who thought reasonably about it, like we were talking about with, like, the mandatory, you know, things you have to do when something like this happens, like, even if they thought it was ridiculous, they probably still would have had to go through this huge rigmarole of nonsense, not to the same extent, but they still would have to harass this kid and do a bunch of shit. I would think.
Know.
Like, if they could do it with Pop-Tarts and making guns with your hands.
Those are, like, crazy instances of that stuff happening. And I feel like I would hope that the most common scenario, and I guess it is because this shit isn't rampant, is that there's, like, some people have common sense, and they can look at what was in that briefcase and tell that there aren't any explosives in there, that you've just got electrical components. You got, like, and I'm not an electrical engineer again, but it looks like there's like a capacitor thing there, a battery, some wiring, a digital display, a circuit board. Like, which part explodes? Which part goes bang? And what's the purpose of the other parts? Like, just stop for a second, think rationally before you dial 911. And clearly the kid could explain it. I'm sure he was like, this is a clock. It tells time. You see? like look. I should be in gym right now.
It even has a countdown mode. Like,
they'd have knocked his fucking brains out. Yeah, I bet they wouldn't let him touch it. I bet it was one of those. I bet he was like, if you just let me touch it, stay down. like
the LED changes colors. Shut the fuck up. Yeah.
Bet you thought you was gonna go jihad on us, didn't you, boy? Tell you what time it is. It's ass whooping time, Ahmed.
What's your name? Ahmed Muhammad? Well, that's already 2 strikes, and this looks like 3. Like,
you some kind of a shake or something?
Yeah. Yeah, it is. I do wonder that. Like, the name thing you were talking about.
Yeah.
Like, are we just as unoriginal with our names?
I don't think so.
Like,
because, like, our 3 names here, like I know all of our names aren't exactly public, but like our 3 names, and think about like Chiz's name, like all of our names are very different. They sound different. Some of our names are very short, as in, like, you know, there aren't very many syllables. Some of them are long, like Matt Woodworth is a long name.
It seems like we have a lot more, even amongst the really common names like Smith or Thompson. I don't know what the most common ones are. I think those are 2. Johnson, I don't know. But you don't go around and 1 in 4 people you meet is like, oh, this is Eric Thompson. That's John Thompson. Steve Thompson, heck, come on over. I'm introducing the whole gang to you guys. And then there's the 5 Smiths, we call them. Like, it seems
the
like
Smithies.
Yeah,
that's how it is though with them. It's like, hi, I'm Muhammad, and this is Muhammad and Muhammad and Muhammad, and that's Mo. We call him Mo for short. His name's Muhammad too, though. Like all
seems
of
like
them.
they roll dice for their names, and it's like Muhammad is on 5 sides, and then Ahmed is on 1. And so it's like, oh, this guy, you're going to stand out in class. Like,
I feel like if we sat down and, like, wrote down the most popular, the 8 or 9 Arabic names we can think of.
We just don't know enough.
And, like, shook them together, we would start pulling ones that were from, Osama bin Laden. Yeah. Well, hell, there's only 5. Yeah. There's only so many possibilities it could be. Saddam Hussein. Told you. Again. Yeah.
I mean, even there's so much tradition behind it. Is like there's no need for them to name somebody, you know, Tim or something. It's like that doesn't have any historical significance. And it's because it's okay for them to name someone Muhammad, like their prophet. Like, nobody names their kid Jesus here. If that were acceptable, I bet there would be.
The Mexicans do.
I'm saying
Jesus.
Yes. Okay, you're right. With Mexican people, like Jesus. But if
Yeah,
like
they
there
have
were white
no
people
shame.
walking around with Jesus, and that were acceptable, I bet there'd be a lot of Jesuses out there.
I think if you have
especially
long hair, you should have at least one outfit that you wear frequently that is a Jesus outfit, like a robe, a staff, and just,
Everyone with long hair has to walk around looking like a vagabond maniac.
just the
every so-
guys. Yeah. I think you should do a Jesus day once a week.
Women
like
have a Virgin Mary Day.
I have a new topic.
Yeah, what you got?
So somebody wrote me on Reddit, and because this is a Patreon benefit, I've really cut back. 1 in 100. I get a lot of letters all the time, but this one I thought was just good for the show. And so anyway, don't go thinking there's a freeway on the show. This is an exception. Found out my girl is a bit of a Jesus freak. I'd love some advice. I present this to you, the panel. Hey, Woody, I'm a huge fan of PKA, and I love the new places it's going with the survival trips. So anyways, I'm not going to give his age away, but he's a teenager, wrapping up high school before too long. And I've gotten in a pretty serious relationship, if that's a thing at my age. We've known each other for 3 years, and last June, I got the balls to ask her out. I knew she was Christian, but it didn't really bother me. I'm secular, but not uber anti-religion, so I figured, I like her, it's no biggie. Well, I was wrong. She won't even kiss me. She'll give me a hug, and that's about it. She's one of those sexes for marriage girls. Heck, if I make a joke that's slightly edgy at all, she gets uncomfortable, like a Jared Fogel prison joke.
Great beginning of the relationship material.
Well, June, so he's a couple months in.
Oh, okay.
I don't know what to do. I really like her a lot. She's a great person. She's super attractive. In a way, it's reassuring to know that she has good morals. Not saying Christians are always morals, but this girl's special. Our families have even become friends, and I can really see her being the one. We do everything together, and we get along great. But am I just wasting my time and her time? I can't change who I am just to stay with her, and I feel like an asshole for starting this relationship, as I should have been honest with myself, and I'm afraid I'm really going to hurt her. Should I try to change her up and loosen her as a person, or end it? Really appreciate the advice.
He needs to end it.
End it.
2 ways I can see this panning out is, 1, they go to different colleges, and he is resenting himself and coming to resent her because he's not allowed to go out and have fun, and she'll be keeping tabs on him on all the fun thing he wants to do, and he doesn't have any problem with, but she would, and so he'll just be doing that for her sake, and then when they eventually do break up, he'll just have so much regret about it. And, well, I rolled both into one, so only one thing. Yeah. But yeah, that's what's going to happen. Or, I mean, if they do go to the same school, she's going to keep such close tabs on him. It's not going to be fun for you, dude. You're a couple of months in, and you already have this much hesitation to write into our podcast and ask us about it. Like, you really like her now, and that's fine, but you're going to wish that you had opened your horizons a bit once you get to college. And if you don't, and you end up breaking up, sophomore, junior year, you're going to just look back on all that time that you potentially now think that you wasted. So I say get out while you can, but be friendly about it. Seems like a good girl.
Yep, I agree. That.
Wow. So I disagree. So there's a chance I've got the word asexual in my head, right? And I feel like that gets thrown around a lot.
Like an amoeba? Like an
No, asexual is a term that they use now for people who have no sex drive, who just have no desire to have sex, who have none of that on their own. And there are a lot of Christian girls who want to save themselves for marriage who are kind of cool with doing everything but. Or doing everything but, if you know what.
For those of you on the way to work, Woody's winking.
My bigger concern is not that, she wants to wait for marriage or whatever that is. It's that she'd be happy with a life that only does sex for procreation. And I wouldn't be in a hurry to just wrap this thing up and call it quits because you're not getting what you want from her. I would just keep an eye out and make sure that, that you guys are compatible in the end. I had this as a video idea. What marriage is.
Wait.
That's risky.
Compatible
really
in the end? How old is this guy again?
16. Yeah, you're right.
Come on,
That's
get some pussy.
Yes, Kyle's 100% right.
Look, it doesn't matter if you don't want anyone who's going to work out for you in the end. You're 16. The next 8 years at least is fuck time. It's fuck time. Fuck everything. If she's taking that long, she's wasting your time. Move along. You could have fucked 2 girls in these 2 months you've spent with her. 2. You're 2 behind right now. You're at -2.
You're at a buffet.
You've fallen
and you
behind.
Picked up a crab rangoon from the appetizer section of the buffet.
I love
and you
those.
really like it, but now you've relegated yourself to only crab rangoon, and not even just crab
they're
rangoon,
so
just
rich.
occasional crab rangoon. It's not even occasional. Like, it's
I mean,
not.
at
It's
least a
everything
dozen.
but the good part of the rangoon. You know, you're not getting everything you want out of it, and there's a bunch of other things in the buffet. Maybe the orange chicken's just as good and a lot more fun.
A lot of people who've had sex with a lot of different people agree that it kind of makes monogamy a bit harder. That sex loses its barrier and its specialness. It's just like co-masturbating or something. If you follow the fuck buffet advice, that if you do decide to do the marriage route, that you might not be good at it.
Every woman is different, though. It's not like you make it sound like it's like gorging yourself on tons of mashed potatoes. That's what you just described, where you just had so much sex that like now all sex is the same. Where I'm not gorging myself on mashed potatoes. Different
That's
dishes.
not what I was saying at all.
No?
I was just saying that, like,
That's what I
once you enter the intimacy, once you break the intimacy barrier with enough people, all of a sudden that barrier gets pretty flimsy and you become not good at monogamy.
I mean, that makes sense. I don't know any research or anything behind it, but I understand what you're saying.
People I've spoken to, and I'm not talking about
No,
Kyle
I
at all.
agree
These
with
are
it.
like people on forums and stuff. People I've spoken to on forums have agreed on that.
I think a man's
It's on forums.
Yeah,
for
it's
the
right there
most
on the
part.
internet.
for the most
Woodworking
part, a
forums.
man's level of faithfulness is dependent upon his options. So one could say that it's really that what you actually have here is people who are guys who are capable of having sex with a lot of women are just capable of having sex with a lot of women and will keep doing so. Because I think that, like, if you're a single guy or in a non-committed relationship, like, and there's just readily available women to fuck, like, there's no way you'll say no. How has anyone here turned down sex from a woman you found attractive before?
I feel like I could definitely
No.
get sex if I wanted to. Like,
Of course,
you
you
know,
can get the sex.
You have a mansion.
But could you? It's turning the sex down. That's what we're talking about.
Well, have you, Kyle? I have not.
Have I had the ability, or have I actually turned it
No,
down?
have you actually done it? Because you were saying that you were leading the question in a way that your answer was like, oh, obviously, no, I didn't.
I think I
But I want-
have.
Yes, I have. I have turned down sex to remain monogamous in situations. I have done that. It is an incredibly difficult thing to do, though. It is very difficult because, like, just genetically speaking, like we're made to always want that, and it's usually so fucking hard to get. And then when it's just freely offered, when it's just like, hey, do you want pussy? You know how hard it is to say no.
Yeah, it wasn't that obvious for me.
Oh, no,
but
I'm full. Like,
on more than one situation, I feel like women have flirted with me in like a knee touch or something like that, that I felt like if I responded in kind, could have cheated. Didn't, obviously.
That's saying something. I feel what you're saying, but I'm talking about.
yeah, that's a couple.
I'm
steps
talking
Yeah.
about, like, in the modern dating scene, in the Tinder era, it would be very common for a woman to say something like, "Hey, do you want to come over and fuck me?" Like those words were like just right out in the open, 100% plain. No games are being played. You want to fuck, and to be able to say no is just a difficult thing to do, I think.
See, I think it's harder to say yes if you're not accustomed to doing that. If you haven't said yes with,
Well,
you know,
you didn't say that people who cheated on their partners were more likely to cheat. You said that people who
Right.
had more sexual partners. By that rationale, I could have 24 committed relationships, each of which lasted, 3 months each throughout my 20s, and I would then, fall right into that same pattern of people who find it difficult.
that's
to
what
remain
I'm saying.
monogamous.
Yeah. I'm not saying cheaters are I'm saying, yeah.
Oh, cheaters are cheaters.
Yeah, that may be so. But if you were to have, like, 24, if you're fucking 20 or not 20, but let's say 24 to 34 women through your 20s, then maybe you've broken that intimacy barrier enough that it becomes not much of a barrier anymore.
It's not the intimacy. All right, so I feel like it's in poor taste to throw a number out there, but quite a few women I think I've had sex with in what remains of my 20s. Don't have much time left. But I can't say whether it's affected my ability to be monogamous or not. But I don't think that, like, I'm not looking to hit the same number in my 30s. Like, I don't. I feel like it's less so. I think it makes me more able to be monogamous because, like, I've been out there and I've fucked a lot of different
Gotten it
kinds
out of your
women.
system to an extent.
That's how I feel, honestly. I feel like, yeah, I fucked that snake woman that time, and then I fucked that hooker that time, and, you know, I fucked that Asian chick, and that Filipino chick, and that black chick, and, you know, on and on and on. And until it's just like, yeah, and I fucked this older lady, and this, you know, whatever, like all the different kinds of women. I feel like I've been with them, the ones you know, whatever. And I feel like now in my 30s, which are coming soon enough, like I'm not looking.
When is your
to,
birthday?
It doesn't matter, you know. It's May 9th. May 9th.
Is that it?
Yeah, yeah. Coming up soon. Is what it? Yeah, that's my real birthday. Everybody knows it because my YouTube channel was my birthday channel. Birthday.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, 5986.
I was asking privately, you know, to get
Yeah, everybody
a different
knows.
private answer.
Yeah, there's no way to hide that anymore. A cat's out of the bag. So, yeah, I think it makes me more likely to be a monogamous, committed 35-year-old at some point. Though that's not my goal, really. It's not really to settle down permanently or anything, I don't think. I don't know what my goals in life are as far as a relationship is. I'm with my girlfriend now.
Are you an uncle yet?
My half-sister has children, so
Okay.
kind of.
Yeah,
Half
yeah.
uncle.
I'm a half uncle. Yeah. So yeah, she's got I don't know how many kids. Like she had twins and then another.
Not
and
a
then
very
maybe another.
committed uncle.
Nah. She's got 3 to 4 kids.
At least you could ballpark it.
Yeah, I definitely ballpark it. Because she had twins, you know, off the bat, and then she definitely had at least one more. I just don't remember if she had a 4th child
I feel
because
like Kyle would be a good uncle. You know that?
My uncle never had a flamethrower.
Right?
I'm a good neighbor to have, maybe. I don't know, somebody to hang out with occasionally.
No, that's not true. You're an awful neighbor.
Maybe I'm a good friend to have if you live in the area and you're able to visit and play with some stuff occasionally. But I don't know about a good uncle.
I just feel like you leave the kids over at Uncle Kyle's, they come back with stories to tell and like
I don't know if that's a good thing.
experiences. So you're not taking them to whores, I don't think. You're
He
just
smoked a bunch of crack and went crazy.
just, you know, a kid.
He said he was gonna die in a month, and he got high on meth. It was weird.
Uncle Kyle knew we were coming over, and he made a jungle gym out of fence posts. And then the next month, at Uncle Kyle's place, we did this and we did that.
We
and-
watched The Deer Hunter, and then he made me be Christopher Walken while we played Russian roulette. Kung Pao! Kung Pao!
Maybe not a good uncle.
Have you ever seen that movie? You ever seen The Deer Hunter?
I don't think
No.
so.
Oh, okay.
I know the
so,
scene you're talking
Oh,
about.
but wait,
got Robert
back onto
Niro,
this.
got Chris. All right.
Well, I mean, I don't know. Maybe your topic was better, but I feel like with this 16-year-old, you know, he's dating he calls her a bit of a Jesus freak. I don't know. If you like spending time with her, then
No. Listen to me. Look, go fuck a bunch of other chicks and then rub it in this chick's face and then fuck her. That's what you need to do, and that's what no one else will tell you to do.
you know
go
what's super
fuck another
common?
chick.
This is
You go
Okay,
fuck
other
another
than
chick
this-
and then
this is
second
how it's
half
going to play out. This
of
is
that
what's going to
sentence.
happen. She is going to withhold it from him for the entire time they date, right? She is going to listen to me, he's saying. She is going to, like, you know, oh yeah, remain chaste, remain pure, whatever. They're going to date for 18 months before it finally breaks off. And then she's going to date another guy and she's going to fuck him 6 weeks in. This story has
That
been
is a
told.
strong possibility.
It's like a one-hit wonder in music. This is a super common story. She will get so used to turning you down, and you will get so used to accepting it. She's gonna fuck the next guy in a few weeks.
Yep.
If that could just be an immediate rebound.
But that doesn't mean you shouldn't leave her immediately. Here's what you do. Here's what you do. You make your case. You say, look, I want sex to be part of my relationship at this phase in my life. And I care a lot about you, and I'd like us to stay together. But I feel like for us to really connect with each other, if we're ever going to find out if we are right for each other, then we should really connect. I trust you enough for you to be my first. Don't you trust me the same way? And if she doesn't fuck you, then you break up with her, you go fuck another chick, and then you rub it in chick number one's face, and then she will fuck you. And that's what you do. I'm sorry if that sounds
And then
cool.
she'll fuck you in this
That's what you
scenario?
do.
No,
That's so
that's-
not happening.
That is
You
very
fuck
good
2
advice.
chicks or you fuck 0 chicks. It
That's
is
good.
your
No.
choice.
It's good advice aside from the coming back with some weird vendetta at the end.
no
And getting
vendetta.
laid out of it.
There's
It's
no
just not a
vendetta.
thing.
Yeah.
It's not an
but-
angry fuck. like,
Even if you take the whole, him wanting it and she doesn't thing out of it, her being a super conservative Christian and you're already noticing that as a big problem. Like, you think that's just going to go away?
Those chicks
The
don't-
option, she's
no,
going to get
those
way
chicks
more
get
extreme,
nasty.
or she's going to either get really extreme with the Christianity in college, or she's going to zoot that other direction real quick and abandon all of it and go crazy. In
Yeah.
which case, if you're at different colleges and that happens, you've wasted all your time for nothing anyway.
yeah, man. Like this isn't one of those things where you're like, I'm never gonna get to have sex with Stacy. You're gonna fuck Stacy. Like, trust me. No matter what, as long as you don't like really bitch out of this situation, you're gonna fuck her for sure. Because she's gonna like loosen up next year or the year after, but she could loosen up in
Long
4
time to
months
wait.
if you start fucking one of her friends. You need to be working on that. You need to show her what she's missing out on. You immediately cut all
To
ties with
send
her.
dick pics.
No. You need,
No.
you need to cut her completely loose, and you need to go to this other chick, and you need to be the best boyfriend you ever can to chick number 2. Doesn't even matter if she's that great looking. It's better if she's not as good looking as chick number 1. By the time this is over, you will fuck them both, and you'll be much happier. If you stick with chick number 1, you're not fucking her anytime soon.
Just
You never-
get out of this weird maze that Kyle's trying to put you into, this labyrinth of deceit. Just end it and have fun in college.
You don't
or
have
with
to
someone
look
else.
at it as a labyrinth of deceit. Here, look at it this way. Break up with her and find somebody else.
Perfect. Do
But
that.
in the back of your head, remember, that's somebody else. You're just fucking her to rub it in chick number 1's face. Because when she sees that you're off, you've got this other thing going on, she's going to be jealous. That's all that's going to happen. I guarantee it.
Yeah.
And say
well,
something about her weight when you break up. Just a little, like a little thing, like not even like a direct insult. Just be like,
you don't sweat much for a fat girl.
like you've been a big
Big.
impact on my life, and just
A
be-
heavy impact. I can physically feel it. Yeah. Like 2 backpacks.
I think you said a couple times that she was really pretty.
You'll be okay. I mean, you're a big girl.
Yeah.
It's better if she's really pretty. They have the most fragile self-esteem. Where are you from, Woody? I thought you were from New Jersey. I thought you were hooking up with those tourist chicks.
I never
You gotta-
fucked them.
Oh,
I did not get laid that summer.
that's a shame.
Ah.
Yeah, people thought that. No, I kissed a lot of girls and went to a lot of movies, but I was not sexing up all those girls.
Well, it wasn't a total loss. A lot of
It
movies.
seems like I love the scenario you described because I feel like, I don't know, 18-year-old single you or whatever, like an older age bracket of anyone, not necessarily you. That sounds like a great like
Yeah, I was
environment to
17,
live
I
in.
think.
I'd like to be a townie. That'd be cool.
Townie.
Yeah, I want to be a townie somewhere. Maybe that's what
Yeah.
I'll do in my 30s.
Yeah, I don't know
All the
if
shoobies.
Taylor knows it, but yeah, in fast forward, when you live in a beach town, every week there's like a whole new batch of people, and I would just whatever date them, date couple of them. I get caught like cheating with my 3-day-old relationship. Didn't care at all. It's like, oh, you thought we were like like yeah, all right, I got caught. You can both drop me. I don't give a shit. Let me just get started on another
The
one.
bigger your pool is, the wider you can cast your net.
Yeah.
And that's just a fun way of saying, like, you can just get a speech down, just a basic intro, and memorize that shit like a line, like you're an actor. That's all you got to do. Same intro every time. You know what the 3 possible reactions are. You got a line for each one of those. Next line. You got like 5 lines, and that's all you need. If you haven't gotten a date by the 5th line, then you just move on to the next one, and you don't even have to be polite when you walk away. Just like, "Ugh," and just fucking move along. You don't have to go far. Like, you can see the next one from the and just go to the next one. Like, same lines. Repeat.
It can be going well, right? And you're talking to this nice like 7 out of 10, and things are okay, and it's kind of working for you. And then there's a 7.5 out of 10 over there. and then just go and work the 7.5 out of 10 if that's what you want to do. You see, like we've all talked about how it's a numbers game, right? You know, like don't get too wrapped up into one girl. They all have their pros and
Spaghetti on
cons.
the wall.
See what sticks, right? Now, when you're in college, especially if you go, how big was your school, Murka, in college? How many students went there? 20,000 maybe?
Oh, way bigger than that. Mizzou had well over 30,000.
Okay, so there's well over 30,000 people there. We'll guess about half are girls. He could really
60% almost girls.
nice.
Wow.
So it was a numbers game that he could play. If you go to a high school, like in an extreme example, my daughter's high school, each class, that is each year, has something like, I think it's like 80 kids.
That's a problem.
Yeah. You know, like it, and by the way, you know, right away, only half of those are going to be, you know, the sex you're looking for, right? So now we're down to like 40 people, and of
there's
those,
10 of those who are fucked up.
more than that, right? You know, yeah, more than that. Of those 40, there's probably 10 that you would date.
I mean, there's 10 that you just couldn't date, though. Like there's 10 that are just fucked, out of that class. Yeah, that would make for a difficult environment to work in. Yeah, you're absolutely right. The bigger the pool is, the wider you can cast your net, and that means you're just going to be much more effective. It's all about, you know, utilizing your time, man. That's why I say you're spending 2 months with this one girl that you like so much, but you're 16. You really should be getting laid or trying to, and I mean, really, like you should be getting after it, man. Like enjoy this time. Like this is about as good as it's going to get for you. Like 16. Like you got your car, you get a girl.
You're
who will
wrong
fuck
on that. I would say there's a lot of. What's an average age to lose your virginity? You think?
14.
Wow, I'm gonna just Google it. I'm sure I should ask Siri. But
To
anyway,
United States.
United States average age to lose virginity, even autofills, 17.1.
Wow, that's
What?
fucking high.
That can't be right.
According to the United Center for Disease Control and Prevention, it is.
Although, how would they know? Like how many of these
there's some
12-year-old
fibbers.
how many 12-year-olds are like, yeah, I'm fucking. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like they're hard stats to get, but like, I don't know. I feel like like there were lots of kids having. There were kids having sex in like the 6th grade. There was a chick in my 5th grade class with like tits. Like kids start early now.
6th grade or 5th grade. Those kids are like 11.
Yeah, 5th grade. She had larger
Here's-
boobs than most women.
Teen
That can
Health
happen, but That
FX.
doesn't mean that
This is
it's going down.
a second
but
source
it
that
was.
also says 17.
It was.
So
I mean, I was in 5th grade. I didn't fuck her. I was just marveling at the fact she had tits, but somebody else was fucking her. Like, she seemed to always gravitate toward the big, fat, bearded redneck type who was like 8 years older. So let's see.
Oh.
That would have been like a 19-year-old she was probably fucking in the 5th grade or something like that. I love white
That's
trash.
just
Horrific.
so a third resource, 16 and a half it says for girls and 17 for boys.
That makes sense.
That
would.
does.
It makes that makes a ton of sense for it to be less for girls.
Because I think a lot of girls might date a guy a year older, you know, when they lose their virginity.
No, I think and
And when
obviously
they want to do it, it's
if a
really
girl
easy.
wants to lose her virginity, she need only raise her hand. And if a guy wants to lose his virginity, he need only work his ass off and really shine like a star. like it's hard.
Yeah, work his
because
ass off
what
to
he
the
said
point
is
that
true as well. That like the 16-year-old chicks don't want to fuck another 16-year-old. They want some 17, 18-year-old boyfriend. In my high school, there were plenty of chicks in like the junior and senior year who were dating like these dudes my fucking age, like my age currently. Like they were dudes my fucking age, fucking 10th graders. Like when I was in high school, and I think back on that now, I'm just like, what a fucking loser. But even at that time, honestly, I was thinking that mostly because I was just like jealous because it's like this is not fair. My dad gives me all my money. Like if I have money, it's because he slipped it to me when I got out of the car this morning. Meanwhile, this motherfucker's got a career. He's got a career. Like, of course he has a car. He has his own house. He's a grown-ass man. We can't compete with him. He makes his own hours. He's there after school to pick her up in a nice car. Like
I remember at my high school, and almost every weekend there was a party in some sort of sand parking lot, right, deep in the woods, along the bay, whatever. And sometimes people who already graduated would come back, and
I hated that.
See, that's a faux pas. See, I hope I'm not interrupting your story, but that is different than what I described, because what I was describing is like a couple of outliers who weren't even from our class. Like, we didn't know who these people were. Like, these are grown-ups from the real world who just happened to meet this 17, 16-year-old out at the mall somewhere, and they hooked up, and now they're boyfriend, girlfriend. What you described is a much lamer scenario. And when I graduated, I knew in my head, I will never, ever, ever. It's so lame. There was a guy who came on our senior trip. Think about that. There was a guy who came on our senior trip who had graduated like a year or two prior.
He just
and I
needed
remember,
one
like,
more year of high school.
Yeah. No, he's already graduated.
No, but he
like,
emotionally, he needed one more year in that environment.
Needed closure.
He just go ahead.
All he wanted to do was party, and he hooked up with like two of the chicks too, which was, I thought, pathetic at the time as well. It was a gross time. They were both making out with this slovenly looking fellow who hooked us up with alcohol. And anyway, I think it's much easier for a young girl to find a partner than it would be for a young man in these.
I always didn't like him.
Sorry.
All right, so I was going to say, like, when the seniors leave, like, they're oftentimes cooler than you, right? It's nice to have them gone. They're supposed to leave the area, and it's your turn to be a senior. Or if you're a junior, there shouldn't be 2 years of people who are bigger and stronger and cooler than you. Like, it's supposed to fucking end at some point. And some people, like me, would look at the post-seniors at our party and think, you know, you don't really have it going on. If you did, you'd be at like college parties right now. Instead, you're 19, 20 at a high school party. On the other hand, there were other people, typically the athletes, who were on the team with them, who were like, you know, oh yeah, Josh, so cool to see you. Right. You know, how you doing this year? I'm good. You on pace to break records? Nah. Like I don't know, whatever conversation they're having, they're close because they were on a team together. And that also gave them, like, almost their old status back. And it was bullshit. I didn't like it.
I never felt like that. We had it even more extreme. There were, like, a contingent of 5 or 6 people from, like, probably almost Kyle's age, like 4 or 5 years older than me. Or I guess that is your age, Kyle. Who would come back, like, I would be in class, junior in high school, and this ass would parade through the door and just start talking to the teacher like, oh, Mrs. Smith, like, oh my God, it's like so crazy to see you. She's like, then she'll talk to him about college, and that it made me so embarrassed for them and sad, just wondering, like, how bad is your life right now that you thought, you know, it would brighten my day going back to that place I couldn't wait to leave and talking to a teacher.
Man, I've been back and it's so weird.
Never
like, I didn't
back.
want to interact with anybody. It's not that far away.
Yeah.
So, like, I drive past it and I see the thing, and it's just like, when I see changes, it kind of bothers me a little bit. Like, they've really reconstructed my high school, and so, like, lots of the memories that I have, like, I can't even picture them now because that stuff's not there. So that's kind of a bummer. But I've never went back and, like, socialized with any teachers or anything. I think I went back one time because I wanted to buy a welder. And I went back to my welding teacher and was like, you know, I bet you got some cheap welders laying around here. And he hooked me up with a welder. But, like, I've never been...
you didn't go back to catch up.
Nah.
That's something to do.
I wouldn't. I mean, for one thing, like, I didn't get along too well with much. I mean, I hit one of the fucking teachers. I don't think they liked me very much there at that high school.
What did
I think they
do to you for you to hit them?
Nothing. It was 100% unprovoked. I did it on a dare. I Donkey Konged him. I haven't told you about Donkey Konging Mr. Cawthon.
No,
I don't
tell me
think so.
about it.
I got a shop teacher named Mr. Cawthon. He's 6'4", maybe like 160 pounds, really skinny guy. But he's like 40 years old. He's balding on top. He got a real Southern accent. And he's the leader of our shop class. It's woodworking, masonry. We build gazebos for auctions and stuff. He's cool enough, actually. He really is. He was very nice to us despite shit like this. And so there was this rap song that one of my friends listened to. He listened to, like, underground, like, Atlanta rap. And this rapper would always talk about in one of the songs, he's talking about Donkey Kong and hoes. And, like, there's that part of the rap song where they stop rapping and you like, hear him smoke, like, yo, and then they start like talking, yo, man, and like going back and forth, and they get in this thing about Donkey Kong and them hoes. And the first guy was like, yeah, man, I just got out of jail because I hit my girl and, you know, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, nah, man, you don't hit those girls in the face. You Donkey Kong that hoe. You hit her in the top of her head so the police don't see no bruise. And it's just a ridiculous rap song about you basically make a fist. And you know how Donkey Kong's got a hammer and he hits you with a hammer. Top of the head. Just top of the head with the bottom of your hand, you know, with the meaty part, not with a knuckle or anything. It's a jolt. Like, you're like, whoa, what the fuck happened? And so we were doing it to each other as a joke at first. And then I would just start doing it to random people in the hallways. And it became kind of a joke. I was like, I'll do it to anybody. I don't fucking care. I think it's funny. And they were like, I bet you won't do it to Mr. Coffin. And I was like, I will fucking do it to Mr. Coffin. I don't give a shit. And they're like, you won't do it. You won't do it. Double dog dare you, mother. And keep in mind, I'm like 16 years old. And so like, I walk up to Mr. Coffin's podium as the class is starting, and he's like, you know, you guys get on the masonry, and you know, you need to get on the shingles on the gazebo. And Myers, what are you doing today? And I just went, Donkey Kong, and hit him in the top of the head real fucking hard. I hit him real fucking hard in the top of the head, so much so that he went, ugh, like that, and he just froze and looked at me like with just hate in his eyes. And I thought he was going to hit me, and I was getting ready to fight maybe. I didn't know what was going to happen. And he just grabbed me by the arm. He's like, come to my office. And he told on me. He went and fucking told on me.
Of course he did. He can't let that precedent be set. That you
Yes.
rap people on top of the head.
He should have hit me. If to be honest, if he'd have smacked me in the head, like no matter what he did, he could have hit me in any way he wanted, been straight. No problem at all.
Cost him his whole career.
Nah, I wouldn't have said shit. So,
your dad be on his side.
So they suspend me for like 2 days or whatever. And my dad made fun of him afterward. Pussy. Pussy. He went so long. There were a couple incidents like that with my dad and teachers. But anyway,
God,
like,
what
yeah.
a rabble-rousing little bastard you were.
I don't know why I did it. They were just telling me I wouldn't. And I just knew I would. And they just kept saying I wouldn't. And I was, fuck it, I'll do it. I just don't fucking care. The other one was I had another teacher, and it was so like the other I had missed 6 days of his class, and if you miss more than 5, you just fail. And he had written in the book, and so like I didn't know it, but I had missed 6 days out of just his class, and he didn't know it either. So the paperwork goes through. I get my report card, you know, in the summertime for the past year, and I failed a class, and this is gonna like fuck up my like graduation time. Like it's gonna be cutting it close. I can only fail so many. And so like I told my dad about it, and he's all upset. And it just so happened that the teacher shot skeet with us, sporting clays. And so we're all at the sporting clay place. We're about to meet up, and it's myself, and it's the teacher who's failed me accidentally. And it's two more men who know both me, the teacher, and my father. And they start fucking with the teacher. Like this one guy, his name's Bart. And Bart has a stutter. He's about 40 years old, and he's very, very much from the South. You ought not have done that. You ought not have failed that, boy. I'll tell you right now. Lamar Myers whoop a man's ass over something like that. I've seen him do it. I've seen him put a terrible ass whooping on a man for not nothing. Not nothing. Damn it, I wouldn't have done that. And they just keep doing this to him. Like 2 or 3 guys are just telling the teacher, like, you shouldn't have done that. Lamar's mad. He's pissed. He's on the way over here.
Did he
Dad doesn't know anything about this shit. He's not upset. He wouldn't beat up a teacher over a grade. He don't fucking care. So, like, Dad pulls up, and the teacher has this in his head. He meets my dad at his truck and is like, looking in the window, hey there, hey, I just wanted to let you know, I'm going to straighten all this stuff out with Kyle and his grades and everything. I'm going to make sure he's doing okay. And his dad's like, all right, then that sounds good. But they got in his head so bad and got him so scared.
Nothing like that ever happened for me. That sucks.
No, I never hit a teacher. No.
No. What's the worst thing you've ever done to a teacher? I've told the story before. I told one to go to hell. That's as far as I went.
I don't think I did anything. Were you about to go into another story about something you did worse to a teacher than Donkey Kong him? Like I can't think of anything. I've been like a little smarmy shit plenty of times, like talking back, like being a smart ass, but nothing notable like that.
faked a seizure. He freaked out, scooped me up in his arms, running me to the office to get medical attention, and I started laughing as soon as we got to the door. He dropped me.
Then you had a
That was
seizure for real,
appropriate.
and he walked away.
He was like, asshole. He didn't say that, but he was an asshole too. He made us watch this video called the Civil War, why the Civil War was not fought about slavery, and he was always talking about the sons of Confederate veterans, and he arranged this whole Civil War reenactment. So fuck that guy.
Oh, I ate a teacher's lunch. Just being like a little shit. He was sitting in the cafeteria with all the kids. This isn't even that bad. But he would like this creepy guy who would always go sit with the girls our age and like pretend he was like talking to him about class, but really he was just being pervy. And he had to go stand up and talk to another teacher. And a friend of mine was like, "Hey Taylor, you should go eat his entire lunch while he's talking right now." And I was like, "I don't know if I can eat his entire lunch before he comes back." He's like, "Well, you better get going." Like, and he had like a spicy chicken sandwich and some fries in that bin. And I just went over there, sat down with the girls real quick, and then just ate it all as fast as I could. Didn't even enjoy it.
Did you know it was you?
Well, yeah.
Oh, I didn't know. Maybe no one saw. No one snitched.
No, he was sitting like at the table with the girls, and so they saw me sit down in a fervor, just eat it as fast as I could, and then get back up, scoot back over there. Everybody's giggling at my table, and so of course when he comes back and he asks the girls, "What happened to my lunch?" "Taylor ate it," and it's like, "Oh, you bitches!"
girls.
We were always very mean to the substitute teachers because they're gonna be gone. You know what I mean? Like, and I like fucking with people, and I knew which substitutes could be fucked with and which ones didn't know how the regular going-ons in the class. They didn't know we don't watch a movie in the middle of the day, or, you know, they don't know that we're not allowed to just walk out. And if you just look at it with incredulously and just be like, "Yeah, I'm going to metal working. I have to. Every day I go." They'll feel stupid for even questioning you, and you're free reign of everything. But we had this one old-ass substitute, and I mean old, like 70s for sure, maybe 80s, I don't know. And she was a habitual liar, okay? And as 17-year-olds, we knew this. Like, we could tell.
Sure,
like,
she wasn't just senile.
Whatever. So she's like going on, she's like a truck driver, and she like invented some sort of way to recycle tires, and like she just had this laundry list of achievements and accomplishments and places she'd been, and it was just bullshit, and I knew it. And I didn't like her. And I thought it would be funny. She was wearing a dress, and I was behind her, and she didn't know it, and there were people in front of her. So I thought it would be hilarious to those who were watching if I came from behind her and started reaching up her dress. Like, and of course, stick with me here. And imagine, like, she's talking to the class of people, and I'm behind her giving them the crazy eyes, reaching up this lady's dress.
This is funny, Kyle Duggar.
She doesn't.
Reverse Kyle Duggar.
Yeah, right.
It's different.
It's an octogenarian.
Yeah, octogenarian here. So like I'm reaching up, like, because I think it's hilarious. And the higher I reach, the more hilarious it is to me. And I bump her thigh. I bump like an area that's definitely above her knee, but her thigh with my hand, and like a goddamn human Spider-Man, I withdraw, do a back roll, and stand, and try to act like I'm like studying my shirt or something. And she like turns around slowly because she was rickety. You know, I was. It's probably more like an average person rolling around on the floor and popping up, and just a really old rickety person who could barely turning around. But she didn't catch me. But
are you sure? Oh, my Kyle, would you please stay after class for a bit?
Like, that's a possibility, but I was terrified in that moment. I felt like I was going to get in a lot more trouble than I did for hitting the teacher. But I just thought it was funny because just for the visual that they were getting of being like, like going up there, it was totally worth it, I thought. I don't know, I put stink bombs in a couple teachers' classrooms. I do that pretty regularly, a lot, actually. I got suspended for that as well. I had been stink bombing the school all day, actually, and I would do it in sneaky ways. I just drop them in the hallway and keep walking, let somebody else break it. Mm-hmm. I'd put them in a soda bottle with a rock, put the lid on, shake it so the rock ruptures the stink bomb. Then all you got to do is pop the top and drop it in a trash can. I'd put them under people's desks so when they sit down, the weight crushes it. I'd always try to be sure that I wasn't around when it happened, but somebody ratted me out, as those fuckers like to do. And so like they call me to the office and they're like, oh, they're searching me and everything, looking for these stink bombs. And they're like, well, we're gonna search your car. And I was just like, yeah, let's go search my car. I don't have anything to hide. And I was just bluffing, of course, because my car is completely fucking full of stink bombs. But like as soon as I saw that he was committed, I was like, stink bombs are in my car. Let's go get them. Like, and I had so many. That, like I knew what was in my car. And that morning before I went in, when I like got my 12 stink bombs for the day or whatever, I remember thinking I should hide these under a dumpster so that if my car is searched, they won't be in it. But instead, I just left this big bundle of wrappers all in my console, and I just knew it was over. So,
have I told you guys about the? I know I told it on my channel years and years ago, but about the poop bandit story.
Tell it again.
The poop bandit. Okay, so there's this. It's not me, but there's this kid. The bathroom bandit they call him at our high school. This kid, this weirdo, and I was the only one who 100% knew, to my knowledge, what was happening, who was doing it, because I almost caught him on accident one day early in the morning. This kid, this weird kid, he would go into school, sometimes really early, and he would go into the bathroom, shit into a paper towel, and then write on the wall Joker-esque messages like, ha 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 ha. You'll never catch me in shit on the wall or on the inside of stalls and like clues like getting closer question mark like, things like that, to the point that our morning announcements they had to say like, to whoever has been defacing our bathrooms, please, if you know anything about this person, report it to the principal. You won't be told out. But the time I figured out it was him, and this happened at all times throughout the day. It wasn't always the morning. I don't know how we never got caught. You'd go to class, come back out before lunch. I need to use the restroom. Walk in, ha ha ha. Like there's shit on the wall. Like when did this ghost of a person find it? Like it got to the point that teachers were logging your bathroom exits. And I got into school really early when he decided to strike one day. And I was about to walk into the bathroom, and this kid walked out, and he knew me. And so he was like, oh, Taylor, I wouldn't go in there if I were you. It seems a certain bandit has struck again. And then he walked away, and I'm like, oh, Mike, I knew it was you. Like, you bastard. And so,
Mike, shit bandit.
Yeah, Mike was the bathroom bandit.
Did he ever get caught?
No, he knew when to stop. It was an Ocean's 11 style, calculated mayhem he was running there. But that's
hilarious.
The poor
That's
janitor,
great.
he became so sullen and downfallen every time he had to go in there and clean the shit.
Yeah, that's great. I love that. Oh, that's so funny.
It's an
Although I can't
asshole
imagine-
move.
I can't hang with your story. Like I don't know.
Shit bandit.
Yeah, the bathroom bandit.
Wow. I have a whole new topic.
Yeah.
I think Taylor's gonna say something. Does it impact it?
Oh no,
No.
I've been keeping a list of like the topics so that the title at the end is easy.
Oh, nice. Well, thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Nick Diaz. If you guys don't know who Nick Diaz is, he's an MMA fighter. He's a bit of a legend. He was a Strikeforce champion, but not UFC. He beat Robbie Lawler, the current champion. He's beat a bunch of current champions. And he's been around the sport for a while. He's 32. And he started super young at like 19, I think. And he's also a pot smoker. Like a pro level pot smoker. Somehow, in spite of his pot smoking, he's also like really fitness oriented. He runs Ironmans, or he's triathlete. He's got some of the best cardio in the sport. And anyway, he's been busted for smoking pot twice by the Nevada Athletic Commission. And he said it would never happen again. He'd be more serious about it. And I can't detail too much the way these tests work. I know their urinalysis, which apparently is not the good one. They tested him 3 times, and the first and third one were like official WADA tests, or VADA, I forget. I think it's WADA. And those tests, like the chain of custody on who touches the urine sample, is all detailed and how they do it, and he was found innocent on both of those. But the middle one, the sort of non-official test, he was busted for pot. And they held his trial like 2 or 3 days ago, and in it he just pleaded the fifth the entire time, and they threw the book at him. They actually suspended him from fighting for 5 years.
Jesus.
Yeah. and
Which
he's-
is essentially the rest of his career.
Yeah.
It might be. He'd be 30.
Well, I mean,
it-
what's he going to do? Spend the next 5 years coaching and running and training other people, meanwhile trying to, keep up his game and be in fight shape in 5 years? Like, he's got to take his life in a different direction.
kind
5
of,
years.
Yeah. That's a lot of ring rust. 5 years.
Ali, how long was Ali out of the game?
I don't know.
I-
Yeah.
5 years is a long time.
It's
in
a
your
lot of
30s.
ring rust, yeah. And like you said, 37. There aren't a lot of people that come back at 37 and do better than before. That's
Yeah,
uncommon.
they're essentially, ending his career with that. It's such bullshit. It doesn't make any sense to me because it's just not a performance. It's not a performance enhancing drug. No one would stand behind that. You could go to the staunchest Republican, the Mike Huckabees of the world. You ask Mike Huckabee, do you think marijuana is a performance enhancing drug, Mike? With everything you know, even he would be like, bullshit.
Just devil's advocate here. This is a guy with huge anxiety issues that can't seem to talk to the press, that really struggles to exist in the public life. In his case, don't you think he's a little better on pot?
No, not in the not in the ring. I think that's what they care about. Like the guy could be on lorazepam and achieve the same anti-anxiety as the marijuana if he wanted to. But I'm sure he just doesn't want to take lorazepam, and he probably likes weed. I don't think there's any case that you can make where it's increasing his performance. He never beat anybody up because he got stoned the week before. There's
That's
no
true.
way anybody ever caught a beating because Nick got high.
But I mean, there's a lot of people who maybe go under the bright lights of the octagon and the cameras, and maybe
He's not high out
aren't
there.
the best. Yeah, he is.
When he's fighting?
If he's fight?
Why would you do that to yourself?
Nah, man. He's not fighting
I'm about to
high.
go get in a fight, pumping myself up,
No,
having
that's
a
not
little
the
bit of
thing.
weed before I go in.
I'm
Like,
pretty
No one
sure
would want
he's
to fight
fought
high.
high.
Nah, no
Nick,
one would want
he's
that.
a pro level pot smoker.
Dude, you're going to have to produce something where he admitted to that because there's nobody who would want to take a downer and then go fight. Like, it would make sense for him to do some coke, for him to do some meth, some greenies, some sort of
the hell is
an
a
upper.
greenie?
It's what the baseball players used to take back in the day. The amphetamines. Yeah, there was that
Yeah.
that Netflix documentary about the guy who threw the no hitter high on LSD. And he was talking about how many greenies he'd take a day. He's like, I just take a handful, throw them on the table. The ones that stood up, I'd take them. Sometimes not that many stood up. So I take the ones that laid down. And it was like, holy shit. Like 20, 30 at a time, whatever. But nah, he's not fighting high. And if he were, if he gets high and beats somebody up, then he should get 2 belts. Like it's just in no way is marijuana a performance enhancing drug. That would be like calling alcohol a performance enhancing drug. It's just not.
Yeah, it makes sense. They're trying to set an example, but it seems like this is ridiculously extreme.
When's the last
There's no
time?
way it helped him win.
I can't find something that says he fought while he was high. In my foggy memory, I thought he did, but I'm not positive anymore. But anyway, so they banned him from the sport for 5 years, possibly ending his whole career. He pled the 5th, and I really only knew about pleading the 5th in criminal cases, right? So if people don't know, maybe non-Americans, the 5th Amendment means you have the right not to incriminate yourself. If I say, Kyle, are you wearing a red headset? And he doesn't want to admit it, he can say, I plead the 5th. And then that just means I have no evidence about that from Kyle. I have to prove it in some other way. I can't just compel him to tell me about himself. But, and I looked into this, in a civil case, which is what this was, pleading the 5th can be used against you. Like you can infer that this person is not telling you because, he's guilty. Like, it's okay to infer that apparently in a civil case, but not in a criminal case. So
If he'd gotten an illegal IV, it'd have been a slap on the wrist. If he tested positive for Dianabol, it'd been a slap on the wrist. If he was blood doping, it'd been a slap on the wrist. If he'd beaten up a hooker and she was half dead on a highway, it wouldn't have been 5 years out of the sport. It's bullshit.
So they actually have a
That's
rule
bullshit.
And the rule is for a third-time offender, it's 3 years out of the sport, which is what he is. But that rule came into effect just after he became a third-time offender, so like it doesn't apply to him. And for him, they chose 5 years. At one point, the commissioners could be heard because the mics were on him. Like, it's just disrespectful. It's like a matter of respect. Like they threw the book at him because they seemed to not like him. And they didn't like him pleading the fifth. And they didn't like the way that he defended himself. His attorneys did a pretty good job of laying out how this drug test, the one of the three that he was positive for, was the least accurate of them, and that they should be using the two in which he was clean. And they just didn't like the way the whole thing went down and seemed to punish him. It's like
I hope it doesn't stand. I hope there's some sort of a way to pull this back, some way for him to come out of this unscathed, because it just seems like such shit. It seems so shitty. It's just not a performance enhancing drug. There's no reason to disallow it. Did you see Ronda Rousey's statement? I mean,
she's not a fan. Yeah.
She's not a fan. She's not very
not a fan of Nick Diaz.
Not a fan of the English language either or grammar. Carly Farino seems, god damn, she seems smooth after listening to Ronda Rousey jibber jabber for a little while. That was just wow.
Didn't she say something like she said something about some girl coming on her face or something, and
what?
Yeah, she's talking about fighting, I think, not Nick Diaz, and she's like, yeah, she just comes on my face, and then he's like, that sounded kind of, or she says, if I come on her face, then it'll be over quick, and she's like, well, that came out funny, and if that were to happen, I wouldn't do it quickly. I'd take my time.
But yeah, I think that. I hope something happens. I don't know much about Nick Diaz. I've seen a few of his fights, and I know that that he has kind of a crazy attitude, and he's known for doing stuff like that. Yep. He's an entertainer, and I like that in my UFC fighters. You got to have two jobs if you're going to entertain me in the UFC: kicking ass and entertaining. Mm-hmm. Like it's not, you can't be a robot and go out there and beat people up. There's been several guys like that I didn't like any of them.
John Dodson.
I didn't like it. I mean,
oh no, who I'm thinking of, DJ, whatever, the 125 pound champ.
I don't like that. You got to be an entertainer. You got to be a Chuck Liddell. You got to be out there dancing or something. You got to be harassing your opponents. People should fear you. People should hate to fight you for one reason or another. And I like that. I like watching this McGregor guy fight. Mm-hmm. That was very entertaining.
Yeah,
he's putting on a show out there. It's not just MMA. There's a little something else there. There's a little bit of WWE mixed in, but just enough so that it's not, I don't know.
You don't want to wear luchador masks or whatever.
Nah, nothing like that. I don't want any silliness, but I want some passion. I don't want it to be all business. I wanted it's nice if there's if they got some skin in the game, if there's a thing. And yeah, I like entertaining fighters, and Nick Diaz is one. And it's a shame if they really just take his whole career away. When this is the part of his career where, if I had to guess, I would think he should be trying to cash in the most. He should be making these next 5 years be his most financially beneficial years. They're just taking him away from him.
Yep.
If it stands.
Yeah.
Real shame.
We'll see. It's a shame that it's happening to him, but it's pretty cool as a fan, because there's going to be a good fight out there. He's going to take them to an appeals court, and then they're going to have to stand in front of like a real judge instead of getting to be the judge. These commissioners are going to be in the actual legal system, and I look forward to that. I think it's going to be pretty neat.
Yeah. So. Well, we'll see how that plays out. I hope he comes out of that okay.
Yeah. Do you see Kyle's camera, Murka?
I do not.
You get the little fanny thing.
Yeah,
I don't know if he'll ever come back. Yeah,
I'm back.
Kyle. Can you see us, Kyle?
Oh, yeah. And they all just brightened up, too.
Yeah, they brightened up. I was hoping the brightening would bring your... Oh, now
it's just your logo.
I clicked it.
I'm sure you'll come back.
We'll see.
Anyway.
Yeah, so anyway, Nick Diaz did terrible in court. That sucks.
Yeah, the fight that I watched with him, he seemed kind of like an ass, so I don't really care. But it also is really unjust. That's not fair.
What was I going to say? There's that North Carolina guy who Let's see. He's looking at felony sex offender charges for having nude photos of himself.
That's like an Onion article.
But the thing is, it appears that he also has a charge of possessing a naked photo of his girlfriend, who was 16 when they exchanged the photos. And
How old was he?
He's
There needs to
17. He was also 16.
Jesus, this is ridiculous. They need context for these kind of situations like that. It doesn't make sense.
I agree. This is why I don't
The
like
pictures are
mandatory
the problem.
minimums.
No, the pictures are the problem here because they're technically in possession of child pornography, and that's why when you're like an underage kid, like sexting is probably not a good idea because every time you do that, you're kind of committing a crime, and it's not the kind of crime that people go out and like dog you for. Like there's no investigator coming around to look into your nudies if you're a 16-year-old football player somewhere. However, if anything else in your life happens that's a bit of a complication and this comes up, it'll be added to everything else. That's what I always say about like having a gun in your car. Like someone was asking me the other day, like, do I need a concealed carry permit just to have the gun in my car? And I was like, well, to the letter of the law in some circumstances, yeah, if you want it out in the open and readily loadable. But I've never seen a scenario where a cop pulled someone over and they had their deer rifle or their bird gun or, you know, their hunting firearm or something like that in their car when they even said anything. Oftentimes, they'll just kind of acknowledge it, nod, maybe even compliment it, and move along. But if you're there on a DUI charge, they're going to write that weapons charge up along with it because that's how that sort of thing goes. So that's why it's just best to always be doing the right thing and not be in possession of child pornography, you 16-year-old knucklehead. Snapchat,
That's
delete
good
it.
advice, but it is ridiculous.
I
that-
It is ridiculous. Yeah.
If I were king, I think the laws would be very similar to the consent laws, right? Like, if you need to be 13 at all. Other than that, we have some sort of problem. I don't know. I need to think that through. But if you're both
sorry, that won't work.
14, if you're both 14, then you're in the clear. If you're 14 and he's 18, check the birthdays because that's the widest gap that we're allowing here. If you're 15 and he's 19, you don't like it. Go on.
No, because it creates a system that can be abused by adults. Now what you're saying, now I see that being used in the same way that sometimes drug dealers will use children to carry out their drug transactions because they're of an age where they won't do any time. Now I can see like some sort of child pornography ring which employs children to handle the trading. Well, she's 14. That's not child porn. That's not child porn. She's 14. It's on her phone. It's pictures of her. She owns it. No, it's not child porn. She's just delivering it to that guy over there. So if you want to slap her on the wrist, go for it. You got to have a zero tolerance policy with that, so that I take that back. Not zero tolerance.
Maybe 2 tolerance. You know?
2 tolerance.
Still very low.
2 tolerance.
3.14
Very
tolerances.
strict, but still a little tolerant. But that system won't work. You can't have like a thing where like dates are coming into play, and you got to get out a calculator to figure out if that's child porn on that phone. What if this 16-year-old has pictures of like 10 different girls from his class? You're gonna go through and like be looking at all these naked like, all right, she's 16, 15 and 11 months. You motherfucker! Like it just doesn't work that way. And I feel like that could be abused by an adult who's trying to like do some sort of child pornography ring as well. I don't know. It's a weird situation.
I feel like
and the
my
best
solution's still better than yours. Like you have a
better than deleting your pictures.
Well, I mean, let's assume we exist in a world where you can't have teenagers not sexting each other.
You delete the pictures after. Snapchat.
Well,
Anything. You can't be keeping a library of nudes of your classmates.
I hear you, but I still feel like let's assume that 16-year-olds make mistakes. What are we going to do about this? I like the idea of you can only own these things if you're at the right age yourself. I don't know, but then
all right. So here's
now
a
the
scenario.
relationship get like now all of a sudden you're 14 and it's okay for you to look at any 14-year-old. That I don't think I like that.
And what can that 14-year-old do with those pictures? What if he shows them to someone older? What if he sends them to someone older? What if the 14-year-old sends it to a 16-year-old? Now the 16-year-old's in trouble, but the 14-year-old's not. If that law goes into effect, I'm gonna fuck everybody I don't like that's an overclassman. Oh yeah, child porn to you, my friend, and to you, and to you. like I'm calling 911. Oh yeah, there's 3 guys that are starting on the football team. They all got child porn on their phone. And then my next call is to the coach. Hey coach, you think you can put me in next week? Like, kids are too scary these days.
You don't know this, but wide receiver and cornerback have openings.
Yeah. I'm gonna be playing all 3 times this week. I have special teams, offense, defense. I got you. I'm gonna be kicking off too.
I feel like I don't have a solution for this, but
There's no good way to handle it. Like,
But-
it's
No,
good
it's-
advice, like Kyle said, to just not do it until you're 18. But at the same time,
That's abstinence though, and I hate that.
just, yeah, but what other solution is there?
Snapchat's like a condom for this, and deleting your pictures is like the morning after pill. So use some birth control if you're going to be sexting children.
Sound advice.
I have another video to watch. I will warn
What
you,
is
it's just shy of 4 minutes long.
Goodness.
But a Hell's Angel is chased by police, and they have it on like helicopter footage, and it's pretty cool.
Okay, I'll
All
watch
right.
that.
Hell's Angel.
Well, they
Those
say
things
that. I
sounds
think
fun.
it's actually true. I thought I saw there were patches or something.
Good
So
patches,
I'm
fun.
queued up at 0.
I'm ready to go.
Ready, set, play.
Found 108 at 140th. We're following a motorcycle.
So
Very
hang
high
in
rate of
there.
speed,
It gets pretty good.
splitting traffic.
right.
Very dangerous
So we're
operation here.
looking from a helicopter perspective right now, down onto some traffic.
Yeah, splitting
Looks
traffic
like
here.
there's some ruffian on a bike.
Going fast.
He's going what I would say is too fast.
Yeah, he's making everyone else look like they're kind of standing still. He's just weaving through
pick up the
traffic
speed
like
again.
they're traffic cones. Whoa, audio got better.
I have mine muted, just watching the video, so I
Got
can.
some stereo now.
right? Look, in dash cam. So you can see he's doing the
undercover cop.
he's got the magic of the motorcycle, which is he can go from 0 to 100 and nothing's flat.
Yeah,
But
he was
he's-
just weaving around like an asshole, and then one of those black Tahoes that you don't know are pulling you over until it's too
On
late.
108.
Flipped its lights on and is now in pursuit.
Maybe no, there was a helicopter on him already, so hard to say. But now so now he's in a rooftop parking lot? Is that what that is, or just a parking lot?
Okay, up to the upper level parking
No, it
lot,
looks like
right
a-
by the,
Yeah.
Second level parking lot, or maybe yeah,
Uh-huh.
it's
Watch this
Parking
shit.
garage. Yeah, it's a mall or something.
parking garage or a mall.
He can't find him.
Yeah, PC and upper level, stop right there.
Helicopter lost him.
Go into that glass.
Still panning around.
So he's on
waiting.
the second floor or top floor of a parking garage, and there's like a glass pyramid on top that leads inside.
So I guess he
and-
went there, maybe.
He went in there.
Oh, now we're switching over to a mall security camera.
Uh-huh.
We're gonna be.
And then he
Yep.
comes down the
yeah.
escalator.
Oh, what a badass!
and there's a security guard on foot chasing him.
He went fucking Schwarzenegger. He's on a Harley in a mall, and he's doing pretty well.
And there's a couple of police chasing him on foot. And they're doing okay because you can only go so fast. He's passing like
Okay,
mannequins
we're going
and shit.
He's on the motorcycle out to 108 on the
Man,
sidewalk.
it wasn't even all security guards who were chasing him. It was
He's back
just
outside.
a couple of good
He's
Samaritans.
back outside. He drove out of the mall.
Yes. Okay, out to 108 and 152.
Yeah,
And
still
he's southbound
escaping.
into the mall on the north side of 108 by the Sears.
At this deep into a chase, you just
Arrestable for
if
that
you're the one
offense.
being chased, you have to
Also
know you're not going to
arrestable,
get out.
for
Like,
flight
there's no
by police.
chance.
They get
Oh,
away more than you think. Like
Really?
the news presents it and TV presents it like
Okay,
we get them
he's
like
now on
90% of the
pit
time.
crossing, and he's
I don't know what the
crossing
actual statistics
Highway
are,
1
but
on the
it's
pedestrian
nothing like that.
overpass.
They often escape.
It's
So
coming out
if you guys don't have the
to,
audio, these are pedestrian
111
overpasses and shit
Alpha
that he's
on
using.
the
Places
east
cars
side of
can't
Highway
go.
1.
Yeah, he's driving around on a bunch of thin bridges, looking like it's winding through a park.
Yeah, and the
Nobody's
police,
on his tail.
Yeah, the police cannot follow him on
Yeah,
pedestrian
I'm actually gonna call
roads.
this 112. He's eastbound on 112, coming to 154, high rate of speed. And just blowing.
It just
stop
seems like
signs
once there's
and
a
not even
helicopter on you,
tapping
it's
the brakes.
impossible to escape.
No, they can escape. The helicopter has to go back and refuel if they don't have multiple choppers.
Onto the sidewalk.
Seems like that'd be a
and he's now
while.
using the
Or I don't know how
pedestrian
long a
bridge.
chase usually
Pedestrians have
takes.
to
I
jump
don't-
out of the
Yeah.
way.
I've been
He's now
chased.
southbound on
Another
Chase.
pedestrian bridge.
Goes
This
over
guy's like
Highway 1.
crisscrossing pedestrian areas.
This will spit him out at Tynehead. And like once
I was hoping he'd take the stairs right there. He doesn't even need to. It would just be cooler. And
Is that the it? Is
Yeah.
that the it? Is that it? Yeah. So no resolution there? It
No, he
just
got
ends
away.
with him driving off into
no,
the sunset?
if you read the description,
I'm reading.
refuses to stop for the police. He reportedly roared through the Gulford Town Center Mall, where he drove his bike down an escalator before freeing the scene. The suspect, a white male in his 40s, was last seen near 192 and 96th. Police are still reviewing surveillance tape and interviewing witnesses in an attempt to identify the suspect.
Oh.
Badass.
Holy shit, I didn't show the video that whole time.
Oh. Oh.
Well,
Woody.
fuck.
Link it. Link it for him. Woody apologizes profusely for not showing the video. But the guy escaped. That's pretty cool.
I will put it
That's-
on the big
that is
screen
cool.
anyway, and you guys can see like the video title and
Happened in Canada.
and look it up yourself.
Oh, that's why.
Crazy
Does it
Hells
get
ain't
away?
here. You can watch
Canada.
the video on your own. My apologies, everybody. Mistakes were made. But anyway, you should be able to find it now.
Yeah, it's a good video. I'm glad he got away. I like rooting for the bad guy to get
Right?
away.
He's a
Unless
Hell's
like
Angel.
if it had said like serial rapist drives through mall, it's like you better catch this fuck.
He's
but if it's
probably
just
a
some
violent
guy
drug
playing,
dealer.
yeah, playing pretend with his little jacket on and we got patches and titles. We're like Sons of Anarchy. Like,
I've told
driving
my
around-
story. Have you ever run from the police from anything, Taylor?
no.
Never.
No,
Well,
no.
sucks. I'm like 1 for 3 or something. Like I'm.
No.
Yeah, it's not a good ratio.
Kyle, I'm sure you have.
Yeah, there's been that scenario where maybe you meet, in the road and you're going too fast, and you can kind of tell that he's slowing down to come get you, and instead you kind of speed up and take the next left, and just keep making lefts until you think you've escaped. Yeah, that's happened a few times, maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Mayhaps.
That's pretty much I did. It wasn't all lefts, but yeah, I was going really quickly on a motorcycle. I saw him stop, turn the lights on, make his U-turn, but I was near my destination, and just get there really quick, and he couldn't find me.
Well, I
Once
guess
I'm-
on a motorcycle, that's pretty easy to pull off.
I feel like the motorcycle has a huge advantage. I guess a supercar would be a similar type deal, but just the way that it's not top speed. For all I know, the cop could do top speed just like I can. They have a lot of horsepower. But the ability to get going, to get up to 80, is so quick on a bike. And to slow down, it's next level.
I think you got top speed too. Like I think that those cruisers, I don't see those cruisers ever doing more than like 130, 150 miles an hour, something like that. That bike can do 200. Some of those bikes can. Anyway.
Some
if you're on like
can.
a lot of them can do 170.
Mine was an Interceptor 500. I think it went 122 or something like that, as fast as it went. I bet the cop could do that.
If it's a 1,000cc bike though.
Right. Yeah, they do.
Like,
yeah.
If they're on an R6 even, like a 600cc bike maybe. Like,
I don't know.
You got to be trying to escape a murder or something awful to go 200 miles an hour on a bike. If you even begin to slip, no open casket funeral for you. Like you just vaporize like a balloon full of ketchup on the highway. Just dead. It's disgusting. I would never ride a motorcycle that fast.
Woody, did you watch Star Trek Voyager?
Yes.
Do you remember Kess?
The hot blonde, short hair blonde chick, right?
Mostly, I didn't think she was that hot, but yeah, the short-haired blonde
Yeah.
chick. Yeah. Did you see the news about her? I guess she left the show for psychiatric reasons back in the day. So
Okay.
and it turned out that things haven't really brightened up too much since.
Oh man.
Yeah, she exposed herself to some children in Tennessee and fled back to her home. And when police came to her home, she was still naked, and they took her into custody, naked, I believe. And I
Is
saw
there any pictures or video of this?
I got pictures of her. I just gotta.
Please help me. Like, what websites? I need to avoid these websites.
I actually 404'd. But anyway, she looks rough and does not look like herself. And yeah, it was a pretty sad story, I thought.
I've
Poor
never
Cass.
watched Star Trek, so I have no idea. But that is quite the downfall.
You ever watched any Star Trek?
No, never watched any.
You guys are.
Yeah, Kyle got robot-y for me.
1, 2, 3, 1.
Still a
What,
robot-y.
7, 8, 9, 10.
Now you're better. Am I better?
Yeah. I can't believe you've never seen any Star Trek. I think I've seen all of the Star Trek that there is to see.
No, I may have like seen part of an episode here or there, but I don't have any memories of it. Or yeah, just I don't know. I don't really get into the space thing.
I do. I really like that stuff. I haven't seen all of the original series from back in the 60s, but I've seen a lot of it. I've seen there's not that much of it to see, honestly. But I've seen all of the others, and there's a lot of it to see. All of Next Generation and Deep Space Nine and Voyager, and I even watched all of Enterprise. I've seen it all. I like Star Trek a lot, and the movies, all that shit.
I keep like triple checking to make sure I'm not screen sharing on this Kess search. Yeah, I don't know why I'm on this goose hunt. There are plenty of naked women on the internet who are.
Well, she's not. There aren't naked pictures of her.
Yeah, they didn't barge into the house of a mentally ill woman taking.
They actually did. Well, not the pictures. They barged in and arrested her, but I don't think they took any pictures. There was just a mugshot of her that was just very wasn't very appealing. Yeah, just really short men's type haircut, and I don't know.
Oh
I've given
wow,
up
she
haircuts.
hardly looks like herself.
Kind of a meth face.
This I can share for everybody. She might still be naked in this picture, although it's kind of safe for work. They cut it off, here, and yeah, it's not a good look on her.
No.
Well, that's sad. But I don't know who she is, so it's not that sad for me.
Yeah, I guess not.
So you don't like sci-fi at all?
No, I like sci-fi. Like I like sci-fi books, and like not. I guess I just read this book called Martian.
You read a book? Fuck you.
I know, such an ass, right? But I liked that. But even that, I generally go for like fantasy stuff over sci-fi. So like Lord of the Rings over Star Trek, or Game of Thrones over Star Wars and shit like that. I've always liked fantasy more.
When does Martian come out?
I don't know. It has Matt Damon in it, and I haven't even seen the preview. The book is really interesting, though.
I feel like there's some real winners coming with Martian and Star Wars, that Suicide Squad and Batman versus Superman.
The Hateful Eight.
Hateful Eight, yeah. Hateful Eight lost me a little on the trailer.
Why? Or which one? I've only watched one trailer. I don't want to...
I've only seen one trailer too, I think. It just looked real low energy to me. All the actors were really old, and maybe I give it a little credit for not telling me too much about the story, but I was more excited, Quentin Tarantino Western, and then once I saw the trailer, I was like, I'll definitely go see it, but it lost me a touch.
Have you seen all of Quentin Tarantino's movies?
Well, probably not.
I think I have. Yeah.
I've certainly seen a bunch of them.
Have you seen True Romance?
Yeah.
The Schwarzenegger one?
We have that.
That's True Lies.
Ah, it is True Lies.
True Romance is the Patricia Arquette and what's his name movie? What's the guy's name?
Christian Slater.
Christian Slater. You should watch that. That's a movie that's a Tarantino movie you have not seen.
I feel like I have seen it though.
Is that one of your favorites? Is that why you bring it up, Kyle?
No, I just think it's one of the lesser known ones. I don't think a lot of people have seen that one. I like Jackie Brown is the worst one if you ask me. I don't like Jackie Brown.
I
think I've seen this.
I guess that's when
I should see it again.
Yeah, I don't like Jackie Brown. I like Reservoir Dogs and Pulp Fiction, obviously. I like the Kill Bill movies. I like Inglourious Bastards and Django. The Grindhouse one with the chicks who were driving the car, Death Race or Death Proof.
That was great. I loved that.
It's probably his second worst movie.
What's this? I really liked it.
Jackie Brown.
Jackie Brown's his worst. I just didn't like De Niro in there. De Niro didn't do a good job. I didn't think. I didn't like it. I just didn't like it.
I liked Grindhouse a lot. I want to go see that again.
De Niro isn't very cool anymore. He went from like Casino and everything 20 years ago, and now it seems like he's a hapless idiot in some relationship with an old woman that he shouldn't care about that much, and they're having mishaps getting across the Midwest. Like it's he doesn't seem cool anymore.
Jack Nicholson, is he doing anything lately?
I haven't seen
No,
him
he
in
hasn't made a
anything
film since The
since-
Departed.
That was like 10 years ago.
Yeah. He's done. He's retired. So is Gene Hackman. Gene Hackman's been retired for quite some time as well. But yeah, I like all those Tarantino movies. I'm trying to think if I'm leaving any out. I think Reservoir Dogs is one of my favorites. Pulp Fiction might be my favorite. The Kill Bill movies are excellent, both of them.
Reservoir Dogs
They're
is better
overrated to
than
me. I know
Fiction.
most will disagree, but I didn't love the Kill Bills. If you want excellent, Django was excellent, and Inglourious
Inglourious.
Bastards.
I
was
love
excellent.
all the. I love the Bruce Lee influences and all the old school kung fu influence that's in that movie. I love that that it's a meta film. It's a film within a film. Kill Bill is, because Kill Bill is Fox Force 5, the pilot that Marcellus Wallace's wife was in Pulp Fiction. And remember Uma Thurman describing Fox Force 5 to Vincent. She's like, it's 4 badass chicks, and they all got these skills. We're all assassins. That's Kill Bill. Like I love that about it, and that's in all of his movies. There's Big Kahuna Burger. There's Red Apple cigarettes. He creates his own little universe. But I loved Kill Bill. I can't believe you didn't like it. It's so good, so good.
It's
Every
not
bit
one
of
my
it. The
favorites
music.
of his,
I thought it was a little
but
simple.
it's good.
It's
I think
Revenge
Reservoir
Story.
Dogs and Inglourious Bastards are my favorites. Maybe even Django up there above Inglourious Bastards. But I think
Django
Reservoir
was very
Dogs is
good.
number 1.
Yeah. I think I've only seen Django once.
Django. It's on Netflix, isn't it?
I know, but I just never seem to be like, you know what? I got 4 hours to watch a show.
I love what he does with music and dialogue. That's where everybody talks about Tarantino's violence, but for me, it's music, dialogue, and then violence. I love that, like, you see Django like riding out in that blue suit, and all of a sudden the rap music drops, and it's just like so out of place, and it takes you out of it for a second, but you go right back in, and you're like, yeah, that's kind of part of this character's swagger. It's cool. I really like what he does with music and the dialogue. Like when two people are sitting at a table talking, it seems like such a real conversation. And even if it's a fantastic conversation they're having about robbing people, or Irving pulling out the Magnum behind the counter, not wanting to give the money up or something, it's a kind of a ridiculous thing that maybe you and I wouldn't talk about, but it seems like it's natural the way that they're talking about it.
I love the tipping conversation with Steve Buscemi. in
Yeah,
Reservoir
totally.
Dogs.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's a
Draws
great
you in.
conversation. I stop viewing it as a movie when I'm watching that scene, and I start considering what he's saying. It's like I'm part of the conversation. I'm like, he's fucking right. I wouldn't tip a chick at McDonald's. Yeah, what is with all this tipping? I love that. Reservoir Dogs is great. It's so violent. I saw it for the first time when I was 16, and I remember it like freaked me out a little when they cut the ear off.
Yeah, it's something about the ear. It just seemed permanent. Like up until that point, he had like maybe they hurt his knees or something. They cut his face, did they? You're saying? But
it's hard for you probably wouldn't notice. You probably didn't notice.
I don't know. It's been a while since I've seen it.
I feel like you need to see blood before you're like, did he cut him or not? Because it was kind of an implied cut. Like he slashes, but like you don't really see it. And even the ear, like. I bet when you picture that scene, you picture an ear being sawed off,
Yeah,
don't
you
you?
don't see it.
You don't
You
see
see the
that.
hole afterward.
see the
but you
hole
don't
They
see
afterwards,
hold
but-
the ear up, don't they? Don't they
Yeah,
show you the ear?
Afterwards.
Yeah.
But you don't see any of this.
Mhm.
Unless, of course, like you watch the extended version that I watched, and then you see him saw the fucking ear off. It was awful.
I may have seen that. Yeah, that torture scene. When they cut his ear off and when they started doing permanent things to that cop, it was like, whoa. Like I sort of thought we were gonna go back. We were all gonna find a way for this to work out until they cut his ear off, and it's like, well, fuck. Like something that is like, well, now what are you gonna do? You really damaged the guy. Like,
Yeah, they never intended on letting him live. Like,
yeah. And then I want to say like one of the guys, I forget how it goes.
Probably don't spoil the climax. I know it's like a 20-year-old movie, but some of them haven't seen it, and it's such a great movie.
Yeah, let's not ruin that.
Well, it takes a turn that I didn't expect.
It's
I
a
don't
great
know what
movie.
else to say. Yeah, and I was just like, it jaw dropped for me. It was
Yeah.
Reservoir Dogs is something else.
The rape scene in Pulp Fiction, same fucking thing. Like in that movie, it's just like, whoa, we were just watching a gangster movie. Like the worst thing that could happen a minute ago was you get shot, like messing with some gangsters or something. Now we're getting fucked down in Zed's basement. This is fucked up. I've seen that movie dozens of times. I watch it 2 or 3 times a month. And so I'm like looking around, and there's the mattress thing over there, and there's all these tools, and you see like handprints on the wall from other people, and it's a scary scenario. That scene really shook me up the first time I saw it too. It's like, fuck, god damn, they raped him, they're fucking him. The same way that that hillbilly raping movie bugged
Deliverance.
me. Deliverance.
Yeah.
I haven't seen
Get
that
your panties off, boy. Woo! Squeal like a pig. Yeah! And he's like fucking this guy, twisting his ear, saying "squeal like a pig." Woo! And he's
He
the
does
actor.
it.
Yeah, he's trying. He's going, and he's going like, no, woo! And he like does a better pig impression, and you're just like, stop.
Yeah. Oh, it's
I haven't
so
seen that movie.
brutal.
Would you recommend it?
Gotta watch
Yeah,
it, man.
you got to see that one. And then I will say I'll ruin it for you because whatever.
Oh.
You can ruin Deliverance. That's okay.
Yeah, no, Kyle ruined it for
real.
you. There's a part where like they get back at him, and like I don't know why, but young me when I first saw this movie didn't expect him to hold a grudge over it, but he did, and it's delightful. Like yeah, it was good. So
Yeah, he held a grudge.
yeah, he held a grudge about getting raped, and yeah,
As you do.
I would too.
Yep.
as you do. Yeah. What was I trying to say? Do we have another topic to talk about?
I think we should call the show right about there. I think this has been an excellent show.
Yeah, it
Yes.
kind of flowed.
Three
Yeah.
amigos.
Happy. Yeah. Right, we'll call it a show. And if you're not, I'll tell you what, if Chiz had been here, we typically threaten 5 hours.
10. Chiz always wants more.
He does. But okay, so that was PKA episode 248. Thank you again, Casper, our sponsor.
Yeah.
Check them out. Coupon code PKA gets you $50 off. There'll be an annotation on the side, a link in the description. We thank them for their support. And yeah, so I hope you guys like the show.
Yep. See you next week.